Hello, 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 and welcome to the Bada Show post-Christmas edition. I am one of your hosts, Dave, and down there in the bottom square is my partner in crime and buddy, Chris. Chris, Merry Christmas,
Hey,
buddy.
Merry
I
Christmas.
hope you had
Merry
a good one. I
Christmas.
hope you really enjoyed your holiday yesterday.
Oh, the season was wonderful.
Okay,
The season was
as
wonderful.
a
I'll give it
whole.
that much.
All right,
Yeah.
all
It was
right,
a magical month.
okay.
Absolutely. How about yourself?
Oh, well, that's all you want to say about it? That's all you had?
I mean, we can volley. We
Oh,
can go
all
back
right,
and
all
forth.
right.
Yeah.
Boop. I sucked at volleyball, by the way, when I was a kid. So,
I was great. Unfortunately, they only had a girls' team at
oh,
school.
okay.
Yeah.
That probably would have been a wonderful premise, or maybe it was a premise already for like an '80s movie.
I know I could have gotten like a wig, and yeah, Tom Hanks could have been in it. Peter Scolari.
Yeah, yeah. There you go,
Good time.
bosom buddies. I was gonna
Hmm.
say instead of just one of the guys,
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
one of the volley gals.
Hmm.
There you go. Yeah. So I guess just to recap mine was all right. I really can't complain. I've talked about this. I feel like ad nauseum to anybody,
Hmm.
everywhere, any forum I've ever been given, and I think this is also in tune with what you just said about the holiday season. Whether it's your vacation, whether it's a special event, the best part about anything is always the anticipation
Anticipation. Hmm.
of that happening, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because no matter what, the best laid plans, right?
Hmm.
Something just does not go right, or there might be a little snag. As far as Christmas Day, though, I gotta be honest. I love giving, is
Hmm.
my thing, and I
Sure.
think I did very well this year. Thank you very much. Thank you, and everybody was happy. Everybody's healthy, so I gotta say, man, A plus.
There you go.
Yeah.
There
So
you
let's
go.
dive into you though. Let's volley it back your
Sure.
way. Because I don't know if I'm expecting an A plus here. Thumbs up.
Bump.
Oh, okay. There we go. Tell us more about what your day was like.
Oh, the day was a lot of cooking. That's what I do on Christmas. Like the whole Christmas corridor, of course, starts at Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's my favorite day of the year because of that anticipation.
Right.
Because it kind of kicks everything off. It becomes, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago we talked about, the etiquette as it pertains to decorating your house or outside your house in particular. But like the rules kind of they change on Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Everything is on the table. Everything's good to go, and you don't have to feel weird or bad about anything. It's just we're in it now. The radio stations flip over. It's all Christmas music. We're there.
Yeah.
So I love that. Christmas Day is often very bittersweet for me. Um, we don't have kids, so there's really like nobody's waking you up early in the morning. There's no reason to get up early in the morning. It's just really another day, but it's also an ending. It ends the season. So it's like as the day draws on, it's just like, oh well, it's more and more done. The lid is getting screwed on even tighter as you
Hmm.
get to the end of the day. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's a bit bittersweet. Whereas Thanksgiving, the lid is off, and it's just everything's great.
Yeah. That's a wonderful way of explaining it because I know last night I had like this small sense of dread around 9 p.m.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, oh no, it's over, baby. This is it.
yeah. It's like I'm still gonna turn the Christmas tree on tomorrow,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah. I know.
It's not gonna be relevant anymore. And then every day after that gets a little bit sadder. But the month itself was phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's one that I'll hold on to forever. Largely because I didn't think I was going to see this one. But second of all,
Aren't you glad you did?
oh, hell yeah. Yeah, because there's something very liberating about letting yourself just go with the flow of a season.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before, so much of my life was dictated by like this impotent sense of non-control. And oh, okay. Just a delayed little notification on my watch saying my garage door just opened, but 30
Uh-oh.
minutes ago.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Right now there's a thief rifling through your refrigerator.
probably. Yeah.
Leftovers. Yeah.
But oh, it was everything was about control and controlling every little bit of whatever you can control. I think we both grew up where we didn't really have much control over what happened in life, right? I think that's normal for kids, right?
Sure, agreed.
And everything was like your sense of stability was always under threat, because everything was dictated by other people. And then some of us, okay, the garage door just closed 30 minutes ago too. Great. Um, where the hell was I? Oh yeah, so you try to bring control
Yeah.
with you. And with me, control always leads to anger because like there's only so many things you can control. But letting go of that this year and kind of just going with the flow and letting go of anger because there was nothing to be angry about. There never was anything to be angry about, but actually understanding that and living it this year,
Mm-hmm.
just wonderful. It's wonderful. Like we did like the touristy stuff, the stuff that I would always kind of pull back from. It's like, let's go look at lights. Like, and this year it was like, yeah, let's do that.
Heck yeah. Go. Yeah,
And
right.
it's like, and like all the things that like our, we're both married men, and all the things that our wives make us do are often things that we're going to enjoy,
Uh-huh.
and things that are going to make us better people, and things that are just going to make us happy. And for the longest time, I just pulled back on that. I resisted. Don't know why. It's stupid. But this year I didn't, and I probably had the most memorable Christmas season of my adult
That's
life.
awesome.
Yeah, it was
You
phenomenal.
were a yes
Phenomenal.
man, and it worked for you. Instead of going,
You know
you're like, you know what? What the hey?
what's
Let's
yeah.
do it. It's Christmas. You want to go do that? Absolutely.
hmm
What's it going to harm me, or how is it going to harm me?
it can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like we did like everything was different this year. We wrapped gifts like right after Thanksgiving, so we had the whole month of December with gifts just piled under the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Looked beautiful, but we never did that before. Usually it's like Christmas Eve, it's like, oh shit, we got all these gifts to wrap. And like we're wrapping like crazy on Christmas Eve. And then like they go under the tree, they look great, but they're there for 5 minutes.
Right.
And it's like, why didn't we do this earlier? And
Yeah.
we did it earlier this year.
Uh-huh.
This past weekend, we spent 8 hours baking cookies. And then we went out and we delivered cookies to family members. And it's like, why the hell haven't we been doing this all along? Because we would always say we're going to do it.
Right.
It's like, oh, let's bake cookies. And like we'd buy like half the ingredients and then they'd go stale. We'd like in July, I'll be like, why do we have 3 bags of chocolate chips? It's like, oh, we were going to do that thing and we didn't.
Yeah.
Why do we have freezer burnt puff pastry? Oh, we were going to do that thing. Ah, shit. Okay, we didn't. This year we did.
Right on.
And it was fantastic.
And they
It
look
was
great.
oh, yeah, you, you did see them.
You
Yes.
sent me photos and videos of the
Yeah.
cookies, and they look phenomenal. You guys had one heck of a spread.
Oh,
The
dude.
Pillsbury Doughman weeped
He did.
at all
He
of his
did.
relatives being served
Their
up,
demise.
yes, on your
Yeah.
countertops. But boy, oh boy, you guys went cookie crazy.
We did. And it's going to sound really pathetic on the eve of my 45th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
This is Chris's Eve right now.
It is birthday
And,
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
And it's weird that it's taken me 45 years to understand friendship. Like this Christmas season, friendship. I mean, things you take for granted, people you take for granted. I think we could blame COVID for effing us all up, but I was effed up before that. I always had this weird schism between real life and the internet and friends here, friends there, because I didn't have any friends in real life. And friends in cyberspace or whatever the hell we used to call it back in the day were just like, oh, those are, people I talk to on occasion.
Right.
But during certain seasons of the year, you're reminded that these people, these ones and zeros are actually wonderful people who think about you and you think about them. And what better time of year to get that reminder? And it's like, wow, we're not alone. It's really cool.
It is.
And it's weird living on like this rubber band where it's like things are really, really good in December. My whole fear yesterday is like, boink. it's like the equal and opposite reaction. It's like, oh, how are we going to get back to real life? Real life's going to suck. We're going to hit with a thud. But, you have those things that come with you. You have your friends, you have your memories, you have Anticipation for the next time.
Indeed. And, you know, as people say,
And
Christmas can be a vibe all year round if you really
it
want it
can
to be,
be. It can
you
be.
know? And I think it's great that, you know, you're talking about the wonders of friendship and all these,
Yeah.
the good in people,
Sure.
people you don't even know or necessarily have ever really physically met before. That's a
Exactly.
beautiful thing.
It
So I got
is.
to be honest about something.
Hit me.
My wife wanted to go to Mass on Christmas Eve. I'm
Gotcha.
not a religious guy, but she digs
Hmm.
it. She, you know,
Sure.
church is her thing. So if
Yeah.
I'm around, I go with her.
Hmm.
It's what we were just talking about. It's not going to hurt me none. Something my wife
Sure.
enjoys. But dude, I swear to God, I can't help if a little bit of that Larry David in me doesn't hit in like the worst times. Like for Christmas Eve, we're at Mass, and it wasn't very crowded. It was very sparse. I want to say there's maybe like 15 to 20 people there,
Wow. That's
but
odd.
it is
I, then
odd.
I, I haven't I haven't been to midnight mass or Christmas Eve mass in many many
Well, her
years.
church is
So
already a very small church, and
intimate sort of.
because
Okay.
here in Texas, like churches is they have mega churches all over the place,
Yeah.
and I even remember
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, she had a friend who invited us to their church to see this Christmas performance, and I thought I was going to like, it was like seeing the Rockettes or something, and
Okay.
it was unbelievable, and you know,
Just the production.
I couldn't
Huh?
get over it. Like even
Yeah.
the what do you call it? I don't even know the right way or terminology to use because it didn't
Hmm.
feel like the inside of a church. It felt like I was inside of
Like a
Madison Square
audit-
Garden or something.
auditorium.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
this huge. And I'm like, people come here every Sunday to worship. This is insane. But anyway, I only bring that up because this is much more humble. This is like a basement
Sure.
compared to these large organizations. But anyway, I kind of what I was getting at was because there was only so many people there. I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh boy, oh, I really don't want to have to shake hands. I think that guy over there is picking his nose, babe. Do you get the sanitizer ready? Do you? Because I think I'm gonna need it. Like, and I'm just sitting in there, and I'm like, I hope I'm not like ruining her good time and everything else. But yeah, man, I felt really bad about it. And she's bundling leftovers yesterday to give to the homeless people
Sure.
and
Sure.
everything else. And I mean, I don't think like that. Unfortunately, I'm very
Yeah.
commercialized and capitalistic, where I'm like gifts, 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 and I don't always see the other angle of things. So as much as I am kind of sour grapes or a little bit rude, at least she balances me out.
There
But
you go.
one thing I do want to focus on now. Last episode, we
Hmm.
were talking about some gifts that we received from
Yeah.
our one of our listeners, the great watcher,
Hmm.
Chris Yu, and we thanked him.
Does the U stand for Uatu?
Yeah, the
The Great
watcher.
Watcher.
Exactly. Well, he because I am terrible with the emails. I keep urging everybody to send us emails, and it takes me forever to fully inspect them and check them. He requested my address, but I didn't see the email, so he shipped everything to you.
Yep.
You and your lovely wife were kind enough to ship the gift to me, and now it has arrived, and it is a permanent fixture on the Bada Bin set. So I was wondering if I could have a quick moment here to show it off in its true glory, if you give me the permission, because Christmas is the 26th. Christmas is still alive.
Everybody get up.
Yes, and if you do recall, yeah, get out of your seats because it's going down right now. All right, line your bird cages, people, because he gifted me. I talk about him quite frequently. Coco Beware. Look at that. I don't know if I should go full screen because I got some glare going on here. Can you see that appropriately?
You got to zoom into his mouth.
Oh! Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. But I do want to thank Chris Yu again for this addition to the Bada Bin atmosphere, environment, universe. I got to be careful. I don't want to drop old Coco here. But there's
The Bada Biniverse.
yeah, Bada Biniverse. Yeah, I know you hate that stuff, so I should never say that again. But alas, there he is, his permanent fixture. Each and every time that we Bada Bin together, Coco is above us, watching us like the elf on a shelf.
Coco be there.
Coco be there, indeed. I like how I led into that too by telling how a story about my horrible personality. And how I'm sitting in church judging other people, yet someone was gracious enough to give me something who doesn't really truly obviously know me all that well. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten a stocking full of coal.
Lump of coal.
Yeah, exactly. But still, it was terribly kind of him, and I'm very happy to own it. And it's super cool, man. Super cool.
Nick,
So
you
yeah.
got Coco and Frankie there.
Yeah. This is the bird. I also
Mm-hmm.
because I have the whole line of the gifts that I received. I have the.
Mm-hmm.
We focused on this last week, so this is a little rehash here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you can see it above me here, the 2-pack
The Booster Beetle.
Booster Beetle that you graciously gifted me, and then my brother sent me a Tony Soprano Funko Pop.
Mm-hmm.
So I have those here in the backdrop, if you will,
Beautiful,
of my
beautiful.
life.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah. And I finally unboxed Detective 880.
nice.
Yeah. So we repacked it up because I wanted to open it on Christmas. Here he is,
Wow,
that handsome Joker.
that is lovely.
When I was looking for this on the eBays,
Uh-huh.
it shocked me how many times this cover has been homaged already.
Oh yeah.
When you look it up, it's like there were like 5 or 6 other covers already. It's like, oh, Detective 880 homage.
Uh-huh.
What? It's insane. It's friggin' wild. This is the best one because the other ones don't look great.
Of course, it's the OG as well. I mean, come on now.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I got my birthday gift from you,
Oh, there we are. Yes.
Nightfall. And you said you would have wanted to send me the movie one, but this is the one I would have wanted.
Well, that's great. I'm glad it's kismet.
It was perfect.
Yeah, how it worked out. Sure.
Absolutely. My wife got me a little stocking stuffer. It was a very batty Christmas somehow. Very odd. I got this little blockhead here.
Yeah.
And it was an 8-in-1. So it's like you can change it into like 8 different Batman types.
Okay.
So it's pretty neat.
Well, what would be the different types though? Like poses or?
No, it's different costumes.
Oh,
this
hey-o.
one, this is the only comic book one. So this is the one I chose, of course. But like, there's also the Adam West one. There's 89, the animated series, the Dark Knight one, Batman versus Superman, all the movies basically. This was Batman in the Bronze Age, so I chose this one because for obvious reasons, probably.
Yes.
And it reminded me of going to the oldest comic shop in the world in Seattle and asking if they had any Bronze Age Batman. And the fella behind the counter is like, is that what the book's called?
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
No. I have your Christmas gift right here behind me.
Oh, very nice. Did you open it up and inspect the guts?
I did. This is weird because like I opened it up and it's not often that one gets slipped past the goalie.
Ah.
But I opened this and I'm like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah, good. I'm glad I perplexed you.
Me too. Me too. I like that. So I flipped it around.
Uh-huh.
And it says what's in there. And it is a signed and numbered collector's edition of Adventures of Superman 500. Of course, that's the return, the white-bagged issue.
Right.
Signed and numbered by the Ortster.
Yep.
Jerry Ordway. Yeah, if I can open this sucker up here. And it comes with a lithograph here, numbered lithograph by Jerry Ordway, which is pretty neat. Now, I didn't pull the issue out because I didn't know if I'd be able to get it back in, but let's give it a shot.
Yeah, let's do it. Live on air. Here we go, people.
There we go. You can see there. Jerry Ordway signed it, numbered it. Pretty neat.
Yeah.
From a very, very special time in comic book history here, which we will probably be getting to in our flashback land not too long from now.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I really would.
This is what, 93? So we just did 89 and 90, so we're not too far off on it.
Well, I'm glad you dig it because I thought it was I told you, like a twofer, a little bit of ephemera with the whole Heroes World thing, and then the, auto comic in there from one of the greatest Superman creators of all time. Never hurts either,
sure.
and it.
For sure, absolutely. So I thought that was super cool, and it actually goes along with something I actually found during a hunt, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Okay, great.
Another thing I got here from our friend Jody. It's a piece of a letterhead from DC in the office from it's the swoosh logo. So what was that? He actually put the dates here. 2005 to 2012.
Okay.
I think a lot of us think of this one as like the Didio Johns DC logo, because this is from the time that DiDio took over and started doing his gimmick. And Jody sent a note here, and I want to read a little bit of it here. He says, as a fine purveyor of comics ephemera, or in parenthetically here, as our wives call it, junk. Please enjoy this official DC Comics ink letterhead used from 2005 to 2012, directly from the collection of fan favorite DC writer and editor Paul Kupperberg. So this here piece was from Paul Kupperberg's collection, and now it's in mine. So I thought that was super sweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because he sent Jody had sent me a message. He's like, "Oh, your Christmas card's on the way," and it's like, "Oh, cool, okay," because I sent him a Christmas card.
Yeah.
And then I got a little informed message saying, the informed mail thing, that gimmick that you get, and it's like, "There's a package coming today." I'm like, "Huh? Okay." Wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting a package, and then I'm like, I hope he didn't like speed ship a Christmas card. But no, it was that wonderful piece there, and wonderful and thoughtful note. Very, very nice stuff. So Jody's a good friend. I've been chatting with Jody forever. So very, very nice of him. Very thoughtful. And another one of those reminders that there are people out there thinking of you. The people we think about also think about us. It's very, very neat.
And I suggested you frame that, but then it dawned on me, if you do frame it, you're never going to hang it. So maybe leaving it in a bag and board is the best.
I might,
option,
because I'm running out of because I have let's see, I did hang this my Action Comics 1000 poster.
Okay, lovely.
Finally,
yes.
And I wanted to hang my Action Comics Weekly piece over there. I don't know if you can see it.
Let me make you full screen here real quick, because right now you're really teeny tiny.
I am tiny.
Oh, yes, there it is. We can see it on top of your smaller bookcase you have there.
Yeah, you can see Action Comics Weekly with Wild Dog, Green Lantern, and Black Hawk. That was something you actually sent to me years ago when I was doing the Action Comics Weekly project.
Right.
I bought a little shadow box for it, and there it sits.
Okay.
I just haven't hung it yet.
Hey, at least it's out and about, right?
It is, and it will be hung. I'm thinking I'm going to hang it like right over here somewhere, so that I need more room for my gimmicks and stuff. So yeah, so we'll get some stuff hung. And actually, speaking of which, in our email segment, Chris, you mentions a piece of ephemera that I actually own.
Okay.
And I have it like right here. So when we get there.
Indeed. I was going to say this appears to be the ticket for you, right? If you want to gift Chris anything lovely or wonderful, it can be like this weird fringe ephemera, just this random stuff. And, I was a little worried that you maybe wouldn't like my Christmas present and just be like, what is this piece of junk? You know what I mean? But
no,
I'm glad you really dug it.
Yeah, it scratched the itch, It's like, this is, like I said, it's not often one gets slipped past.
Yes.
Like, it's like when you go through a bin. I remember, probably like 10 years ago, going through a random bin at a record store and coming across the, was it Mindy Newell? Mindy Newell, Gray Morrow, Lois Lane 2-part miniseries from like 85, 86. The When It Rains, God is Crying story. And I'd never seen this damn thing before, and I never knew it existed. And it's like, oh my God, what is this? It was just really, really cool. So when one slips past, it's fun.
It's a treat.
It brings you back. Yeah, it's a treat, and it brings you back to that time where we were discovering this hobby.
Yeah.
And being awed by the things we find. So no, that's finding something I've never seen or even knew existed before.
Right.
Super cool. And going back to that story, you just remember that, we were in peak speculator boom where the comic creators were going like on tours of different stores and signing things, and what a mania it was. And it was all based around comic books. It wasn't like, oh, this is the voice actor in Lego Batman.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was like, it was actually about the comics. Yeah. I have Rob Liefeld going on his like the Awesome World tour and stuff. It's like seeing ads for that. It's like, oh wow, that was actually something that had a market and an audience, and people love doing it. It's bygone stuff, but That's kind of where we live.
Time magazine. The cover was actually Superman, not the movie Superman. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
sure.
was just Superman his 50th anniversary. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Now,
crazy stuff.
before we exit this Christmas
Sure.
recap, I do, and I apologize in advance because I'm about to expose you. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm about to lay you bare in front of the world.
Mhm.
YouTube, look out. This video might be censored in some countries. So you receive some gifts. You you open them. You
Mhm.
were awed by them. You love them so much so that you wrap them and put them under your tree to reopen them
Yep,
Christmas Day.
I
Why
did.
would you do such a thing? Please explain the process of the psyche of the madman who would commit such an act.
Well, a lot of it was the wife.
Okay, so you're pushing that blame onto your
Yeah, yeah,
significant other, your better
yeah,
half.
yeah. Because
Okay.
and as soon as I opened 880, because yours came and we just immediately wrapped it.
Yes.
I didn't open it; it was just wrap. So I wanted to be surprised when 880 came, and it was like, uh-oh. I felt the because
Yeah.
my wife got so annoyed. She got me the little brickhead thing, the little brickhead stocking stuffer gimmick.
Hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, I don't want you to see what this is. I want you to be surprised." So she wraps it and she hands it to me. I'm like looking away. I'm in a different room, and she hands it to me to put under the tree. And the first thing I do, because I'm a child, shh, 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 shh.
Shake it.
And
Okay.
she's like, "Why did you shake it?" I'm like, "I have to shake it." She's like,
Okay.
she's like, "Don't shake it." She's like, "Now you know what it is." I'm like, "No, I don't. I had an idea. It might be
Hmm.
Legos of some sort." But I shook it. So when 880 came and I get the box, it's like, shh, and the wife's like, "Why are you shaking it? Stop shaking things." It's like I got to, but that I had to open that one. And then I wanted to make sure we opened. I conferred with you before we shipped it off because I didn't know if we needed to like insure the package and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
so we did that. But yeah, I was upset with myself for opening 880 because I imagine opening that fresh out from under the tree. That would have been an experience.
Hey, listen though, the reaction would still be the same whether it was tree
Sure,
adjacent
sure,
or not. It
sure.
was a wonderful, thoughtful gift.
Oh,
So,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
you're just trying to create some kind of ambiance
You know,
around
you,
the
you try to
opening.
recapture your youth.
Yeah.
That's basically our whole gimmick is trying to live in our nostalgic bubble and just enjoy like we used to because things ain't like they used to be.
Mm,
We're older. We've lived life. We've had successes and failures, and we'll continue to.
right.
And yeah, the fresh-faced naivete and inexperience just isn't there anymore.
I just successfully fought back a sneeze.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. On camera. So I'm going to be very interested to rewatch this video again and see the pangs of pain on my face
Hmm.
as I put the tongue against the roof of my mouth. Well, just quickly to add to what you just mentioned,
Hmm.
since you did rewrap 880, you put it underneath the tree. That
Yep.
should have given you an excuse. You had just said like, I don't have kids, so there's no reason to wake up early. You should have jumped out of bed at 5:30, 6 a.m., ran down, woke up your wife first. Wake up,
Yeah.
it's Christmas
Get up.
morning.
Get up. Get up.
And, ripped it all open then. Like a
Now
Nintendo
the wife
Entertainment
woke up a
System.
little bit late. Oh yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. I mean, that's those were the days.
Yeah, sure.
Those were the days for sure.
We experienced that in my house too. I was texting you, letting you know. My son is 12 now,
Yeah.
and it was a stark difference from when he, for example, was like 5 years old.
Sure.
And he was much more chill. The anticipation level was still there, but it was more.
Controlled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
Metered.
you gotta wait for your mom to wake up, and he was kind of like, all right, all right. He wasn't. He was chomping at the bit, but it still wasn't the same level of panic
Yeah.
or
Oh yeah.
manic
Yeah.
behavior where she'd be like
Sure.
shaking my wife to wake her up. Instead, he
Hmm.
was just being chill about it. So I'm like, well, we get a teenager essentially now,
True.
and this is what the
True.
future holds for me. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
alas.
growing up, my sister is 5 years younger than me, and my brother's 10 years younger than me.
Hmm.
So like we always kind of had that vibe.
Yeah,
Like for my entire childhood, it's like there was always a little one. So yeah, there was always that impetus to get up early.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just get up early anyway now.
Me
It doesn't
too.
matter.
Yeah, I
So
think I was up at 5 or 5:30
yeah,
yesterday. Just
yeah.
Went down, put my Christmas socks on, and waited.
Looked at the tree quietly,
Yeah.
cup of coffee in hand. Just,
Hmm.
I know you're there. I'm gonna open you again. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get
With
you.
with with my maple brown sugar creamer.
Oh, is that what it was? That's
Oh, dude.
very festive of you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I just stick with my tried and true French vanilla.
Mm.
Now, we've just recapped some wonderful Christmas memories,
Yeah.
and boy, bottle that, right? Bottle
Oh
that feeling.
hell, dude. I feel like I've left claw marks on this month.
Oh,
Like I'm holding on and I'm being pulled into next month.
yeah, for dear life.
Yeah.
Please, no,
Mm.
not January. Anything but January.
Anything but
Um,
January.
Sorry, I just wiped my nose on camera. I'm doing everything on camera. Okay, everybody.
Hey,
I'm sorry. I would like to shift.
we're real people.
Yeah, I guess I would like to
We're real
shift to
people.
you normally before I cough or do anything crazy. I also hear some weird ambient noise outside, but I'm experiencing thunderstorms
Mm.
here in the Dallas, Texas area. So who knows what the hell's going on us? Maybe
Yeah,
someone get electrocuted. Maybe it's a
yeah,
cover of
we're overcast, but
Christmas
not
vacation.
could be.
You
We
know.
are overcast today, but not. Don't look like there's rain coming.
You know, listen, man.
Yeah.
I kind of alluded to this. I touched upon it during our
Hmm.
Christmas recap that I am a terrible human being. I'm so negative, and I'm sitting in church. I'm thinking, oh no, I don't want to shake hands with a nose picker. I don't care what holiday it is. It doesn't matter. The moment
Hmm.
that your finger penetrates your orifice,
Any orifice.
you're
Yeah.
done. You're cooked. All right.
You're dead to
The
me.
good graces, the door is slammed shut. Ching, it's over. So, with that being said, I kind of want to lead into something that may be
Mhm.
viewed by some as being a little negative nilly, I suppose. But
Ruh-roh.
I love looking at the solicits. With my mail order, for example, I kind of get very excited, not to the level of opening Christmas presents under the tree in the morn,
Mhm.
but they have something called variant cover selection. But Dave,
Uh-huh.
variant covers, those aren't really your jam. True.
Mhm.
Yet, that to me is still the sign that my next month's order is ready to be viewed and I can see everything.
You
And
can start to tabulate what you're going to do.
exactly. So
Yeah.
just when I get that email, variant cover selection required, I'm like, boom, here we go, getting
Hmm.
happy.
Planning time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there was a variant cover that I witnessed being issued or released, I'm sorry, in March
Hmm.
that struck me and filled me with so much disgust.
Uh-oh.
I was like, I got to talk about this on the Bada Show. I really do. And you have yet to see it.
I have yet to see it. I wanted to be shocked, awed, and
Right.
disgusted.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to send it to you right now via
Okay.
text.
Got it.
And I'm not going to, because I have an image here to show the wonderful
The
Bada
crowds,
out there,
yeah.
yes. But I just want to get your reaction live on air to see if you agree with me,
Hmm.
or maybe this is up your alley. Who knows? Let's find out.
Let's find out together,
Maybe the
live.
Christmas spirit carries on through Chris. Okay, let's see. Do I get the little delivered prompt? Come on, Internet. We're doing
Oh.
a bit.
Bzz, got it.
Okay, let's see what we got.
See what we got. This is.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, does that hurt you somewhere? You might need to talk about later.
Oh.
Yeah, that's rough. And for everybody at home who's like, why are these grown men making strange noises and faces at the camera?
Mhm.
That it's not a reaction from holding back a sneeze. This is literal. Like, what is DC thinking? They are releasing with World's Finest number 37 a Guy Fieri variant cover. Okay, so yes, Chris, hold on. Let me get back to you, Chris, because I had. There you go. Chris has the face. Oh yeah, there you go. Let me go back to the cover for the folks at home so they can see the entire. Even though they say cover not final. So anyway, please let it
Are they
not
going
be
to
final.
add more? Are they going to add more douchiness to
Well,
it?
hey man,
Can
listen.
they?
You know me and Dan Mora. It's executed to perfection. The problem
Yeah.
is the contents. It's got Flavor Town on it, the diners, drive-ins, and dives, and then Guy Fieri looking a little too jacked for Guy Fieri, if you ask me, in his tatted up glory, leaning on his hot rod. So the art itself is fine. The problem I
Sure.
have, and this is a weird situation for me because issue number 1 of World's Finest had a Jerry Seinfeld variant, and that was probably
Yeah.
I'd never wanted a variant cover more in my life.
Sure.
The thing with Guy Fieri is, and this is a little bit of the backstory why I do not care for Mr. Fieri, is
Mm-hmm.
because he got his start on something called the Next Food Network Star, a reality
Okay.
show where they were grooming the next crop of hosts for their network.
For their shows.
Right.
Okay.
And have you ever seen that show before?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So a
No.
lot of it is when they bring these young chefs in, they
Mm-hmm.
really are searching for an identity,
Like a
a
yeah, like a
gimmick.
character. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. And so young guy didn't know exactly what he was going to be yet, and
All right.
he was grasping wildly for any sort of identity that could separate him from the pack and hopefully eventually win him his own show.
Sure.
And to me, as someone who was a teenager coming of age in the 90s,
Mhm.
authenticity was an important thing to me.
Okay.
Okay? So I grasp onto that a little bit, and when
Sure.
I feel like something isn't organic or natural and that you just fabricated this personality in effort to become successful and make money,
Mm-hmm.
you're a fraud, man. And I
Sure.
stick
Sure.
with that. It's just it lasted me forever. You know that I was a huge Real World fan of reality thing when I was a kid. So when Judd
Mm-hmm.
Winnick became a comic creator,
Yeah.
I was always like, "Yeah, Judd from the Real World season 2, he's kind of lame, man." I'm not trying to disparage. As a human being, I'm sure, a wonderful person. But that kind
Sure.
of stuff, it just lingered with me in my memory and
It,
stuck with
it
me.
was a yeah. His reputation preceded him. It
Here we
was
go.
yeah. The well was tainted. Yeah.
Right, and but it's in such different degrees because, to be honest with you, Winnick has written some good stuff, and
He has absolutely.
I'm not trying to like dismiss any of his creativity or talents. While in contrast, Guy Fieri to me appeals to, and I'm sorry if you're a fan of Guy Fieri, a very low denominator of people who would be interested in cuisine programming, right?
I
Yeah.
Guy Fieri doesn't come up in conversation terribly often, but
Okay.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who was like, "Oh, you got to check out this Guy Fieri show."
Or you really got to go to Guy Fieri's restaurant so you can have the trash can nachos, which is a
The
real
what?
thing on the menu.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I didn't even know we had a restaurant.
he's got plenty around
Hmm.
casinos and probably on
Okay.
cruise ships and stuff like that. But one of
Huh.
the items on the menu is the trash can nachos, to which, to me, would appeal to the NASCAR fan out there who's.
Not that there's anything wrong with NASCAR.
No, I mean, you like watching cars spin around incessantly in circles. My son just entered the room
Ovals.
to throw a blanket at me. So
Welcome.
okay, thank you very much. Sorry, I was distracted.
Blanket on the set.
Blanket on the set. He was throwing a wet blanket on my thoughts on Guy Fieri
Geese's necks are weird.
and NASCAR. But anyway, yeah. So just real quick, I'm going to show it again.
Geese Fieri's neck is weird.
Geese Fieri has a very strange neck, right? You're keeping the theme going. That's a deep cut. But anyway, I'm like, why is he on the cover? So anyway, enough of me just talking bad about Guy. But really, why?
So here's the question.
Okay.
When DC does covers like this, sometimes they're part of a wider theme.
Okay.
Are there any other books that month with Food Network celebrities on them or with Guy Fieri himself?
No, there's sports. That's the theme of the variants. So you have like Nightwing has a variant of him playing basketball.
Okay.
Superman family, I think it's action. Maybe I think it's
Uh-huh.
Action Comics playing football, that sort
Okay.
of thing. So where Guy Fieri comes into the equation,
So there's no like Rachel Ray or Bobby Flay covers anywhere?
yeah, or the guy who,
Alton Brown or whatever his name
or
was?
the host of what was the competition show, Iron Chef,
Oh, yeah,
who
yeah.
also
yeah.
played the Crow in the television series, but says the word olive better than any other human being I've ever seen in my life.
I can't remember the last time I watched anything. I watched Food. I think the last time I saw Food Network, I was like in a hotel.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the only channels they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like ambient watching where it's if you went to
It's like waiting room stuff.
yeah, if you went to a
Waiting room
hotel or a
airport.
bar,
Yeah.
the sports talk, ESPN,
HGTV.
yeah, all that stuff with the captions are on with no sound.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But Guy Fieri on a DC cover to me seems like a crime against humanity.
It's worlds colliding.
You know, and World's Finest has been doing this. Like they had a Nicolas Cage one, they had a William Shatner one, the Jerry Seinfeld one I had mentioned with issue number 1.
I remember the Seinfeld one, and I remember we're going to talk a little bit about FOMO later
Okay.
when we get to the email. But I remember I actually bought that one. I didn't order it because that one was announced late, like like it wasn't part of the solicits, right? It was just like it came like 2 weeks before the book hit. It's like, oh, there's going to be a Seinfeld cover.
No, no, I heard about it before that. I had
Oh,
read.
did you?
Oh
Okay,
yeah, I read about it because I remember
okay,
going to a shop. This is before I was even on mail order,
all right,
and I requested it, and he was like, "Dude, it's not
hmm
even in the system yet. I can't even." He's like, "I'm just gonna take a
okay.
note," and he took a note, and then when I went to the shop to get World's Finest #1,
hmm
he gave me cover A,
Oh,
and I was like, "Dude, I asked for the Jerry Seinfeld." He's like, "Well, check the rack," and then there was like a stack
a
that deep.
billion of them.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
like, "Okay,
yeah, because
sounds good. I'm
that
taking
was
that
like
one."
a bleeding cool book. Because like, oh, you got to get this one because it's it's going to be rare, and it's like it's all you saw was the Seinfeld cover.
I love that cover though.
Yeah,
Okay, listen, it's got Jerry Seinfeld on it. I had to have it. Okay.
I like Seinfeld.
Yeah, I know
I
you
just
do.
don't like variants.
I know, I know. Listen, completely understand. And I know I realized kind of ahead of time, just breathing the word variant in front of you in a whisper, instead of saying like, no more mutants,
There you
no
go.
more variants.
No more
You were
variants.
like, the word variant. It's like we have our words that kind of like set us off. You know
Mm.
mine. Please do not utter them on this program.
Hmm.
But yeah, still, this in particular, where's the rhyme and reason behind it? What's going on? Where's the
That's odd.
audience for it? I don't
So
know.
you said there was Nicolas Cage. Was there anything in the story that like I'm
No,
sure there was no. I'm sure he didn't show up in the book. And
no,
there were no other like weird actor gimmick covers that month. It's
no.
just World's Finest.
I'm wondering. I think the Nick Cage one might have related in some way. And someone out there, if you want to correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm.
badabinshow at gmail.com.
Yeah.
But when the Flash movie came
Uh
out, and
huh.
I thought it was a great movie,
Hmm.
they, spoiler alert, earmuffs, it is a point in the film where they kind of dive into the word that Chris can't stand.
Hmm.
No more multiverse.
Hmm.
And they show there was going to be at one point Nick Cage as
As
Superman.
Superman. Yeah. The
So
the Superman Lives or whatever.
right, and there's like a
Yeah.
CGI version of that in one of the universes they jump into. So I
Okay.
think there was like a little bit of a
A little
fever
bit of
pitch, a little
synergy or
excitement, yeah, around that whole thing, and seeing that,
okay.
it made him say, "Hey, why don't we throw Nick Cage on the cover? He's a big Superman fan. You
Yeah.
know, let's do it, baby." So yeah, I understand. Maybe you're playing like a detective here, trying to find out. There's got to be some kind of logic behind this, right?
Not always, I guess.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying. I don't know if there's an editor out there who's like, man, you know what the world really really needs.
William Shatner on the cover of World's
But
Finest.
even then, I kind of get William Shatner too. I mean, he was Captain Kirk, and at that time, I think that was
Were
when.
they on the USS Enterprise or
No, it was
whatever?
just Captain
Yeah.
Kirk, standing there. Maybe they were major T.J. Hooker fans. But I do
Maybe.
know at that point in
Maybe.
time, yet again, he was going to space. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
They were shooting him up in a rocket, and it's not like that he goes into space. It's like out of the Earth's atmosphere, or like the first little. It's like just the tip.
Who, William Shatner?
Yeah,
They really did that?
yeah. And so,
I didn't know.
yeah, like they just send him up really high in the atmosphere, where he can technically
Hmm.
say, "I've been in space," and then the damn thing drops back down again. So maybe that's the reason behind that.
Oh,
You know.
fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, I don't know. Guy
But yeah,
Fieri.
the cover, that cover, I can't imagine anybody wanting it. Then again, I mean, I'm probably the wrong person to ask because like when we go up to like cover Q in certain books, it's like who out there wants L, M, N, O? Who wants?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I couldn't begin to tell you who's the market for
Like,
this.
is this going to sell a single more? Is one more copy of World's Finest? I don't know that it would.
I don't know, man. But we just
Maybe Guy
mentioned,
Fieri will buy it.
yeah, all of his family and friends.
Yeah.
We just mentioned like the Jerry Seinfeld cover. You'll find it in dollar bins now,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and it's something like I had to have it.
Hmm.
I can only assume this is going to be flooded, or the bins are going to be flooded with these as well.
Oh, 100%, dude.
So,
100%.
there you have it. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I would love to hear everybody's thoughts on this. Badabinshow at gmail.com. Let us
Yeah,
know.
and if you have worse variants, let us know what they are.
Yes, please.
We want to know.
Right, exactly. That'd be pretty good too. Now, I do want to apologize. You were quick to say there's nothing wrong with NASCAR I have this weird bent on like Southern culture.
Okay.
And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm from the North and I've always kind of had like preconceived notions, or maybe because now I live in
Now
the
you are a
South.
Southerner?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't be throwing names around here, buddy. I'm not a Southerner now. I just happen to live in Texas.
Mhm.
Okay? And even where I live in Texas, it's weird because you will have like a hodgepodge of accents
Okay.
because you have a lot of people like me who are, what do you want to call it? Help me with my words.
Transplant?
Transplants. Thank you,
New
Chris.
England expatriate?
Well, I'm always a patriot. I'm not an expatriate. I'm a
Well,
Patriots
you don't
fan.
live there anymore. You're an expat.
Stop. I ask you for words and then you screw them up.
Okay.
Stop doing that. But yes, I'm a transplant. But yeah, like there'll be times I'm working and I hear people, "Hey, yo, how you doing? Boy, I gotta grab a buggy to put my things in." And you're like, "Where the hell are you from?" And then you know what I mean?
Down the block.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, and then you hear people who sound like they're from Philly,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. So,
No. No, I'm in Arizona where accents go to die. So
okay. But anyway, so yeah, if anybody's insulted out there about my whole NASCAR thing or my weird views on the Southern culture, you got the email. You
Mhm.
know what to do. Okay?
Word.
Please get on top of that. So, just like you do your cousin. So anyway,
Oof.
we like to do little segments here. We like to have
Yeah.
fun. I love having fun. Chris, I
Fun's
mean,
good.
he's just a bag of fun. If I whack him right
Mhm.
now with a stick, what's going to leak
Fun
out?
would come out.
Fun. Just pure fun.
Tons of fun.
And
Mhm.
we have visited game show themes in the past.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have quizzed Chris, and Chris cannot be stumped. He can't be
Mhm.
denied. So this time around, you proposed something to me,
I did.
and let's see if the tables turn a little bit. I'm sorry, I just get distracted because my dog decided to walk into the recording area.
Dog on the set.
Dog on the set, wet blanket on the set.
Hmm.
I will have to call my son to come grab the dog, otherwise, I'm sure hijinks will ensue. So I guess this is a perfect opportunity for you to
Okay.
explain what is about to happen here.
Yes, it's an idea. I think it came up on the air either last week or the week before, wherein we're going to test. I mean, this was as much an education for me as it will be for Dave as we go through it here. It's a segment that we are calling "The Price Guide is Right," where we're going to be taking a look at some key books, some random books, and I'm going to quiz Dave on what their, do we say value? Perceived value is. We're going to use the old standard 9.6 because every damn book that comes out is a 9.6 nowadays. And we're going to quiz Dave on what the prevailing wisdom on the value of certain books are. There's going to be 11 books this time. 5 are on a theme, 5 are on a second theme, and 1 is a special extra one. And initially, I plan on going to mycomicshop.com, where Dave gets his mail order, in order to peruse their back issue availability and inventory and try to get a fair price. Because, you could go to eBay, you could go to Amazon, you could go to anywhere and get a valuation or a estimated valuation on a book. You can go to the eBay sold listing where you can actually see what people did pay for things. But in doing so, I found that things were just, I mean, Dave and I talk about getting sick deals on certain websites. So it's like, how do you really average that? Is there a scientific way to do that? It's like, is book A worth $100 because it was listed and sold there once, or is it worth $5 because it's sold there at that? I wanted to go somewhere as impartial as possible. So I figured I could go to Mile High, and then I remembered that Mile High is insane. Could go to Midtown, and I remember that Midtown is a little bit less insane, but still insane.
Mm-hmm.
So MCS seemed to be the place to go. Unfortunately, the first 4 books I tried to price there, the only availability they had was CGC slabs, and that goes against the I don't know, the
Spirit?
meaning, the spirit of this show, the
Yes.
spirit of this segment. I hate terms like raw, because comics aren't raw; they're just comics. It's like, that's like describing a comic by how it holds in your hand. Is it firm? Does it do other things? No, we don't talk about it like that. We don't use those terms. So I will say slabbed because slabbed is slabbed, but I'm not going to say raw. So we're just going to say comics.
Okay.
Unfortunately, MCS only had slabs and consignments.
Okay.
And boy, we were talking about consignments a little bit off the air before we started, where consignments, for those unaware, that's when a customer tries to sell their wares through a store's storefront. It could happen physically, brick and mortar. It could happen online. And here online, holy smokes. Like one of the books I was looking at here, let's say MCS had it for easy numbers here, $100, $100 slabbed. And then I'm looking for one that isn't slabbed, and the only one I can find is a consignment copy that's there for $300 because the customer who has it there names the price. So it's really unscientific, indicative of nothing, and completely the opposite of my actual brick and mortar consignment experiences. Have you had any consignment experiences in your journeys?
No, I haven't bought anything off of consignment. But one thing I did mention to you when we were discussing this previously was 99.9% of the time they're mostly wildly overpriced to the point
Ridiculous.
where MCS might be selling the same exact item, same exact condition.
For a third of the price?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you wonder what's up with the person selling on there, if they're just not aware of what the competitive pricing is, if maybe they think a sucker is born every minute, or even what MCS is thinking sometimes by allowing such a listing at such a higher percentage point.
Ridiculous.
You would think there might even be a cap. Like, hey, if we're selling it for 100, the most you can sell it for is double, not triple, but double. I'm just not. Yeah.
No, I did a lot of I had a lot of great finds consignment wise at a comic shop locally years ago. They closed down. They closed down during COVID actually, but they were around since I got here in Arizona. They used to have, they were part of the boom generation where they had like 5 or 6 stores locally, and of course it winnowed down to the one that was there for the final 20 years of their existence. But they had racks there that were purely consignment. And they were wonderful because you'd get, that's where I would buy runs. I think I bought like a full run of Power Pack for like $15. That's like a 60 issue series. I got all of them for $15. I got like the first 14 issues of Miracle Man from Eclipse for like $10. The one that I was surprised by, growing up when we grew up, the first appearance of a character neither of us like, but one that was always like popping up in Wizard is like hey, look for this book. I came across a set of Omega Men, 1 through 25 or something like that, and I think it was like $15. And I'm like, there's no way Omega Men number 3 is in here, which is the first appearance of Lobo. Sure enough, it's in there. It's like consignment. You can get some really sick deals, except when you're online, I guess, because these were insane. Now, so where I wound up going for my numbering here was comicbookrealm.com, because it was the only place that I could actually look at prices without having to create an account.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm not creating an account. Come on. How many damn accounts do I need?
Right. And
like I said, we're doing the 9.6 near mint valuation of these books here. And I'm wondering what we do for the over-under.
You asking me?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Well, listen, I am completely in the dark here.
So was I.
I would have gotten
all of these wrong.
And I want to continue to be so as far as like what your selections are.
Sure.
So being that you had mentioned that on MCS, for example, they were only available pretty much in slab form or consignment. Yeah. I'm thinking keys, right?
Some keys.
Okay. So that being said, we're getting into higher range of stuff where that's not really my territory because I'm a cheapskate.
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay. What do you say, like a $10 buffer? Within $10? Do you think that's fair, or should we go more narrow than that?
I think for the higher dollar ones, we could do 10 either way. For the lower ones, maybe 5 either way.
Okay. Listen, man, you are the ringleader. You decide if I'm right or wrong. I just have the buttons here to push either which way.
Because trust me, I would have gotten pretty much all of these wrong.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, my finger is not on the... And it's funny, when you look at Comic Book Realm and you click on like the price guide, it says, remember, fans, a comic is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another segment that I have on the back burner here for the show, is as I go through all the new stuff that I'm reading, instead of giving it like a number rating or saying if it's good or bad, saying something like, is this worth the price of admission?
Yeah.
And it's like, a comic's only worth what someone's going to pay for it. I already own it, but was it worth the price of admission? Is Green Lantern number 18 worth $4.99? No. Yeah. We'll go from,
Okay.
maybe we'll get to that another time. But for here, we have 2 rounds and a special. Now, the first round is going. I don't know if you have any music for this.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
bet
the
I
producer.
do. Are you
Okay.
you ready to get this thing kicked off officially?
Let's do it. You get the music cooking here, and I'm gonna get my GarageBand pictures here.
You do that. This is the price guide is right.
Come on down.
Come on down, baby. And I'm actually anticipating a disaster here of epic proportions. Because,
It might be.
but listen, you just went into an elaborate explanation on how you derived to where we are, what we're about to do with this wonderful game show here. But I'm a cheapskate yet again. Do I got to keep saying it? So I'm a little worried. I'm going to be underguessing quite a bit. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Let's just kick it off.
Yeah.
And see where we're at.
Okay. Now the first book here.
Yes.
Now again, this is comicbookrealm.com 9.6.
Okay.
Saga number 1.
Oh.
March 2012. Image Comics.
Damn.
There we go. This is my GarageBand setup here because I don't have images on the screen.
Okay. So now I got to guess within $10 what they want for a 9.6 of Saga
number 1.
Fantastic series. I guess that's maybe why you're saying it probably would be up my alley, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be something I'd be looking at. Ooh! I got to get my finger on the wrong button here, but I'm gonna say, damn, Chris, what are you doing to me, buddy? $350. How far am I off?
Do you want to make a second guess?
Well, I don't think it's fair unless you tell me if I'm under or over.
Okay, you are over.
I am.
You are over.
Then my second guess for 9.6, I'm going to say $270.
Okay, strike 2. You are still over.
Oh, man, I just hit the wrong button, too. We got the music again. Oh, well, I can't do anything right. I'm still over? Really?
You're still over.
Wow.
Strike 2.
I could be thinking I'm going under. And I got 3 strikes, okay.
3 strikes, yeah. That's a new rule.
Okay, I'm still over. Let me just hit this now. $200.
You got it.
Are you serious?
$209.
Wow, it took me 3 tries to get that. $209. I was way over.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought that'd be worth
Surprised me
so
too.
much more. Yeah.
Surprised me too.
Holy cow. Yeah. All right, well, do you think that's a fair price for it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, obviously I do. I would never spend that, but I was like, hey, 300 whatever, $50, man. Okay. Very good. Okay. Very good.
Book
I stink.
number you got it though. I wouldn't have gotten it with 5 tries.
Okay. I like the pliability here with the rules.
Yes.
This is very essential.
We're making it up as we go.
Okay.
Now, book number 2. We've talked about this one on the air. Spider-Man number 1, August 1990.
Uh-huh.
Adjectiveless. Did I have it there?
Yeah, you do. You do.
There you go. And this is regular cover.
All right. So I remember this book being just completely flooding the discount bins when the hype died down, right? Another one they were like keeping their desk stable with copies of Spider-Man number 1. Now, of course, nostalgia is king. What's old is new again. People want to buy into that.
And McFarlane still being a big deal.
9.6. I'm gonna say $15.
Wow.
What? What?
$16.50. Nailed it.
There we go. All right. Now I'm gonna go
Nailed
buy
it.
one today. It's the only one I'm gonna get close to. Yeah.
You killed it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Next one. If I can figure out how to use this gimmick here.
Okay. You do.
This is
that.
another one I think we talked about on the air. Let me swap over to here to make sure I'm showing it on the screen. This is Green Arrow Volume 3, Number 1. The theme for the first 5 here are number 1 issues.
Okay.
Green Arrow Volume 3, Number 1, April 2001 cover date. The Kevin Smith one.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's worth $1 million because I own it. In easily
Oh, really?
yeah, in easily 9.6 condition. It was only read once, so if this is valuable, badabinshow@gmail.com. I will sell you my copy.
There you go.
Ooh, I'm gonna say $10.
You are within $10.
So I'm technically right.
You are technically right. It is $19.80.
Wow.
Yep, so just under $20.
According to this site. So
According to
all right.
comicbookrealm.com.
Comic Book Realm. So if you guys got any issues with these, you know where
Take
to
it up
go.
with them.
Yeah, I don't have their email, but you can go crap on them all you want. All right, man. I'm doing good with the stuff that kind of is more in my
Yeah.
wheelhouse.
Wheelhouse.
Yeah, buying the stuff back in the day. All right, cool. Now I'm full of moxie, kiddo.
Yeah. We got 2 more number 1s here.
All right.
The first one is an old favorite. It is Youngblood number 1.
Oh, geez, Louise.
April 1992. A book that Wizard Magazine stopped putting in the price guide because it was worth nothing. Ooh. Oops.
Yep.
Oh, I hope we didn't give away what's next.
No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
there-
I just saw your collection of
All right.
pornography.
Oof.
Okay. Yeah. Oof. Now it's funny because on an earlier episode of Bada Bin, I remember talking about a shop that was just I crapped all over this shop because
Sure.
they overpriced everything, and they had that. And I want to say it was like almost $20 or something. It's not my guess. So I'm going to guess 9.6. Oh God. What would I pay for it? I'd be more aligned with the Wizard price guide, but I'm going to say $12.
Is $13.20. Nailed it.
Wow, look at me go. Look at me. Ma, you raised a winner.
You're sweeping the board here.
Well, no, because Saga screwed me up. It took me the 3
You
tries.
got within, but you got it.
Horseshoes and
Still
hand
got it.
grenades,
We're
buddy.
counting it.
Okay. All right.
Now the final
Number 1.
number 1 issue
Okay.
is one that I procured not too long ago and talked about. It is Batman: Harley Quinn number 1, August 1999 cover date.
Okay. And this is, I love those close-ups you do. And this is,
I learned from the best.
yes. So this was not, okay. So Harley Quinn's first appearance is the Batman Adventures, right?
Yes, this
The
is her first
animated-
in continuity.
In continuity.
Yes,
Oh, boy. I'm going to
and
say.
this is first printing 9.6.
And it took you a while to get it because it was out of your range of cost. You're more like me. You got to be. You're only spending big if it's like a detached cover Bayou Billy. I'm going to say $80.
Strike one, low.
Okay, $100.
Strike two, low.
This is going to hurt me. This is going to hurt me, man. All right, this is my last chance at redemption. And I'm too low.
And again, this is not what I would pay for it.
No.
It's not what I paid for it.
Okay, then I'm just gonna I'm throwing it all out there, man. I'm whipping it into the wind. $200.
You got it. $192.50.
Wow, another 3 try. Wow.
Yep, but you got it.
You know what though? I never would have without the high-low comparison.
I mean, it could be any price.
You know what though?
So,
I really think what's his name, Drew Carey. He better look out. He better watch himself because he's going to find himself on the unemployment line very soon, thanks to a gentleman such as yourself.
It could be.
Okay.
Could very well be.
All right. So technically I've swept the board, even though I don't
You
feel very
swept?
good about it. But you know
I
what?
mean, this is just the first go around. So I mean, we could do this every so
Yeah,
often.
well, I'm going home with the Dyson.
You are getting the
I'm
Dyson.
getting the vacuum cleaner, so that's
Hmm.
a good sign. All
Yeah.
right, so what do you got now for round two?
Now, round two
Mm.
are I actually went into the bowels of the Bada Bin archives
Oh,
here, and I dug into our sweet spots,
oh boy.
and we are going to start with. Let's see if I can get in the screen here. Swamp Thing Volume 2, number 56, January 1987 cover date.
9.6, right?
9.6.
Okay, so here's gonna be my first guess, and hopefully I'm well now because I know this is a low ticket item.
Mm-hmm.
What's the buffer? Like $1, $2,
Let's do
$2?
$2.
Okay, then my first
$2.
guess is going to be $4.
$4.40.
Man, I was so worried you're going to embarrass me on that one too.
Nope, you got it.
Four smackaroo. I got to hit that again. Right
Mm-hmm.
answer, because I'm a brilliant man. I'm a genius. What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a participation trophy I'm going to get out of this, or what?
Maybe.
I hope so.
Maybe.
All right, good, good. And by the
Well,
way, everybody, if you
you're gonna
missed,
get a Mervin's gift card.
okay, if you missed that episode where we talked about My Blue Heaven, Swamp Thing number 56,
Mm-hmm.
I consider this one of the greatest comic book single issues ever produced, printed, published, shipped out worldwide.
Stapled, saddle stapled.
So
yeah.
as you just found out, you can get it incredibly cheap. Go get it, read it, and thank me later.
There you
And
go.
now, please let us continue with the price guide is right.
Next one is out of my list
Okay.
of sweet spots here. It is Uncanny X-Men number 308, January 1994 cover date.
All right, bring it back a little bit. You're kind of giving us a little bit too much techno action. I feel like I'm at a rave.
Shh, shh.
Yeah. Oons, 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 oons. Okay. That is a Christmas issue, if I'm correct, right?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, holiday. Still, I'm within the range. That's all we care about today. Ranges. Thanksgiving.
True that.
I think it's lower ticket items, so we're probably going to be within the $2 buffer.
Yep.
So I'm going to guess $6.
$4.40.
Hey, all right.
You got it.
Nice.
You got it.
Very good. So there's another issue. Chris recommended it. Unfortunately, I couldn't remember the holiday they were celebrating, but go check it out real quick.
Absolutely. Next up,
Okay.
Incredible Hulk Annual number 11.
Oh, you son of a biscuit eating bulldog.
October 1982.
Oh, pulling at my heartstrings. Oh, yeah. Wow. A 9.6 on such
9.6.
a glorious issue.
The king size annual.
Oh, yes. What am I willing to pay for it? Because I try to swoop up and grab it every time I see it on the cheap. I'm going to make a guess, which would be more than I'm willing to pay for it. But because it's listed on the internet, I'm thinking this is a fairly safe bet. $2 buffer. I'm going to say $8.
Low.
Oh, what? Wow, I got to hit the losing horn on that one. Ay, caramba. $12.
$11.
There we go. And I
Got it in two.
I just told you I wouldn't even pay $8 for. And it's my first comic I've ever received, ever read. I love it. It's the impetus, the origin, the start of all of my fandom. But I mean, if it's like a couple bucks, yeah, I swoop in and grab it, like I just
I'm
mentioned.
sure.
You know?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not too terribly hard to find for a lot cheaper than $11.
Yeah,
But we're going with the guide we've got.
yeah. If you find them, actually buy them. Same thing with Swamp Thing number 56.
Sure.
Buy it, read it, send it to me. Because then
There you go.
I want to own all of them, and then it should be worth like $12 or something because it's hard to find.
Scarcity.
I'm
Yeah,
sitting
the
on it. They're
scarcity.
keeping my table straight. You know what I mean?
Now, next up,
Okay.
from the Bada Bin Sweet Spot archive here.
Oh boy.
Mad Magazine 236.
Oh, you.
January 1983.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. You did this on purpose.
You're damn right.
You're out to get me. Oh, sweet
Damn right.
mamma jamma. Oh, that's another one, guys. Get that issue. That kicked it off for me. It's so funny because look at the shirt I'm wearing today. Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I get the Mad Magazine poster behind me. The hat. I just love Mad Magazine, and I'm gonna make
Mm-hmm.
a guess, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be right. 9.6. Oh, I'm floating between two numbers here, so I'm just gonna go with the first one because I do have three chances.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
You
gonna
do.
I'm gonna say $10.
You are 10 cents off. $9.90.
There we go. Actually my first
Mm-hmm.
guess was gonna be 8, but
You still would have gotten
I
it.
know 10. I'm ringing that bell again, baby.
Do it. Hit
Oh
it up.
God, dude,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful issue, and plus it's ET.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, cultural zeitgeist tapping into it. Boom, that
Mm-hmm.
is 80s all over your face. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Oh, love it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I love you
Now,
for doing this to me, actually. This is a wonderful
hey,
trip down memory lane. I love it.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. The next is the final of our the final of the
Yes.
last of our sweet spot issues.
Okay.
This is from my corner here. Tales of the Teen Titans, number 55,
Ooh.
July 1985 cover date.
Yes. And I used to own that issue. Okay. Now, despite the fact that Gar is green,
Mm-hmm,
I'm going
mm-hmm,
to assume it's not worth a ton of green.
mm-hmm.
I can't remember. Now, this is when he was upset about the death of Terra, right?
Yes.
And he
Yeah,
goes
and
after, okay,
he goes
Slade.
after Slade, and they wind up at Denny's and talking about statutory stuff.
Oh, lovely. Perfect for the holiday season. Share it with the
Isn't it?
kids.
Ho, ho, ho.
I'm going to guess, and this is purely based on age and for the fact that I
Mm-hmm.
know I read mine and it was destroyed, so it can only be so many in existence. I've been doing all even numbers pretty much. I guess an odd number. $7.
Low.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, lose their horn. All right then. You know what? $10.
It's $11.
All right,
You
great.
got it.
There we go. I'm surprised, to be honest with you. I really am.
Was I? I thought that was going to be another $5 book.
Yeah. Once we're
Yeah.
done with the price guide is right, I do want to kind of explain something to people because I've been kind of perusing the internet on some pricing and I've
Mhm.
been very upset with it, but we'll save that for later because right now
Okay.
it's your show. It's not
Yes.
Dave's rodeo.
And this is the final one for the first installment of the price guide is right.
Okay.
And this is a special one because it's the sweet spot of our friend Chris Yu.
Ooh.
It is Tales of the Teen Titans number 50, When Donna Married the Red Menace.
Okay.
This is February 1985 cover date.
February 1985, significant issue for the marriage. And you know what? The last Tales of the Teen Titans was a lot more than I expected it. Sweet spot. Chris Yu.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say my first guess,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm putting my finger on the right answer button right now because I better be close. $12.
High.
I'm high. Okay. All right. Second guess, $8.
Yes, you're within $2. It is $6.60.
Wow.
Lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. I would have. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I thought that was going to be a tenner.
It's a wedding issue
Yeah.
for crying out loud. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
But I think it was widely printed.
Okay.
Because I see that thing in the quarter bins all the time.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Internet, for inflating prices despite our own sentimental feelings for them. Well, I got to
Yes.
say, this was a successful edition.
Yeah, it was
The
fun.
price guide is right. Now it's time for our exit music. Roddy, please tell me what consolation prizes our guests that did not get up on the stage won today. Showcase Showdown participants. Make sure you
Spin the
always
wheel.
you bid $1. Be that kind of human being.
Or bid $1 higher than the highest bid.
There you go.
Punched in the mouth.
Now overall, I think I did pretty good. I mean,
Oh, you
I got
swept
every.
it.
I know.
Yeah,
But it still hurt me. I didn't get everything on the first try.
true.
You know what I mean? And that's where the disappointment lies. And what I wanted to tell you and everybody else out there was the other night I couldn't sleep. And I read a couple things, which I will talk about later in the show. But
Sure.
I was on MCS looking up some issues from my childhood.
That's right. You mentioned that.
Yeah, just to kind of see like, hey, are they within reason? Maybe I might want to snag them. I was feeling, soft in the right places, and it was for Amazing Spider-Man, and I was primarily going back to some of the '80s issues during the Roger Stern era, and I knew, for example, do you remember like they had a Juggernaut two-parter?
Yeah.
It has a Juggernaut in it. I know. Forget
The
about
Nobody
it.
Can Stop the Juggernaut one?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Even the
Uh-huh.
Hobgoblin stuff. I
Sure.
was like, but maybe there's like a lower grade copy just to have it again.
Yeah.
But man, was I shocked at the prices and how
Oh,
high they
yeah.
were. We were looking over $20
Crazy.
for like fine copies of some of
Mm-hmm.
these issues. Even then, the early McFarlane era, even if they weren't like a significant issue
Key?
or key,
Yeah.
yeah, key, thank you. Just like a fine copy was like $8, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
man. Even then, I'm like, do I really want to spend $8 on a rabbit-eared,
Tattered. Yeah.
spine, cracked issue, just to have
Yeah.
it? How much did I really love it? I think I felt more of the sentimental, nostalgic vibes towards some of that Roger Stern stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I didn't bite on anything. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take my chances out in the wild, and when I see it, I know it was meant
Yeah.
to be. But just that emotion I went through and the feeling of like, okay, two parts. One, damn, this is so expensive. And then two was, I really wish I still had this. I wish I'd taken better care of my comics because, yeah, they want super high prices for some of these books, and I don't know where they get
Mm-hmm.
their numbers from. If it is price guides, an algorithm tells them what other people have spent for them online, or if they have
Probably
their
a
own experts
mixture. Yeah.
in house. I don't really know, but boy, oh boy, was I crestfallen
Oh, yeah.
over the prices of things I had just treated like crap and let go. So yeah.
No, I feel like there's a ton of nostalgia for most '80s books right now,
Mm-hmm.
where it just feels like it feels almost like we're back in the early '90s. Where, I mean, if you were starting your collection in the early '90s and you went into the back issues, anything with a 1980 whatever cover date was going to be inflated.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't like there was a scarcity
Right.
because you could find anything you wanted. It was just going to be expensive. And I lucked out because when I started doing my big backfill was like after the bottom fell out on the market, and before the movie started. So like there wasn't the curiosity cost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you still had your Joker tax, right? That never went away.
Right.
But you know, you could get that 4-part Rocket Raccoon thing out of the quarter bin, right? You could get all these. You can get the 4-part Peacemaker thing in the penny bin. You know, nobody wanted that stuff, and you know that's where you get them. That's where I got them.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I picked up a whole load of the like the McFarlane Batman, like Batman Year Two. Those were dollar bin books for me.
Uh-huh.
Even the one with the iconic cover with the cape and everything. The one I think they just made an action figure of it. Found it for $1, and now it's like you look anywhere and it's like $60-$70 for it. It's crazy. It's crazy
In the
stuff.
reverse effect of that, I think when we were younger, specifically seeing issues from the '60s, the prices were fairly high.
Sure.
Now, though, when I look up some of the '60s issues, especially with DC, they were printed like so much that
Oh, yeah.
you can get them, like you said, tenors, like $10 books and stuff. And I remember seeing
Sure.
them as wall books
Oh yeah.
back when I was younger, in my early 20s. And so yeah, I guess the tables have turned a little bit with the decades in their value.
Oh yeah.
Specifically, yeah, with the '80s material that you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
So I have bit on some more, Silver Agey stuff here and there
Yeah.
because I'm like, why wouldn't I? This smells great. It's musty
Sure.
as hell,
Yep.
and it survived. It made it this far. Like it's a wonderful
Yeah.
piece of archaeology. You know?
Yeah. And like, cause like even the '90s stuff is starting to kick up now for some reason. Like like I remember getting like the entire run of Darkhawk
Mm-hmm.
for like maybe 25 cents each, and now those are like folding money books.
I can't believe that.
Why? Why? The old Guardians of the Galaxy with like Charlie 27 or whatever and Major Victory. It's like nobody wanted that stuff.
Yeah, I
Nobody wants
know.
this stuff now, but it's worth money.
It's Jim
Weird.
Valentino. I mean, he's probably at freaking Guy Fieri's eating trash can nachos. You know what I mean? Who wants his stuff? It's like
He
Shadowhawk. Come on,
he might
man.
be Guy Fieri.
Yeah, exactly. In
That's
disguise.
why he's on the
This is
cover.
his second career. A little
Yeah.
plastic surgery never hurt nobody.
Little bleach.
I would
Yeah.
sue the doctor though. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know, man. Sorry, I'm still thinking about Jim Valentino. It's gonna make me laugh. I wish I had a picture of him at the ready, so it would be more relatable to everybody. But yeah, the Darkhawk thing in particular, I remember it was like the cool hip thing. It was the in
Sure.
joke on social media. I have Darkhawk #1, so people were literally going out and buying them,
Hmm.
inflating the price just so they
Yeah.
could post it online. Like, look at me, I
Like
got,
lol. Yeah.
I'm unironically cool now, you know,
Yeah.
you know that whole thing. And I'm like,
I
well,
love Danny Finger Rose.
yeah, sure you do. Uh, so that the thing about something like that is the staying power.
Yeah.
Is it still folding money 2 years after it was an internet
Oh.
joke? You know, is it?
Yeah, it won't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It has been a couple of years, so I'd be interested to see what it's worth now. But
Maybe
yeah,
that'll be in a future installment
there we go.
of the Price Guide is right.
Put a pin in it.
Mm-hmm.
We get a nickel every time we say it.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time the price
mm-hmm.
guide is right, I will always have that graphic at the ready. I'll probably be a little
Love
more
it.
nimble with my fingers on the sound buttons, though. I was a little,
It all sounded good to me
yeah,
because I didn't
you
hear
didn't hear a
anything.
damn thing.
Yeah.
I know I was playing the Price is Right music, and you're just talking.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
like, hey, yeah. So anyway, got a lot of undies and socks this Christmas. If you don't mind, let's deviate from prices and talk
Sure.
about if you don't, have any objections,
Oh no.
because I want to discuss a couple things that I read this week.
Okie dokie.
Are we cool with that?
I like it.
All right, he likes it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
last time out, I specifically focused on this cover of Action being
Yeah.
an unintentional homage to
Homage.
Superman 17, and you have not read this yet, correct?
I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh.
My box came in and it was up to 1079.
Okay.
So I did not get that issue.
That box has not yet arrived. Don't worry
No.
about it. Don't sweat it when it comes. This is the story that will not end, and one of your favorite aspects of the industry ever. The cover has nothing to do with the story.
Love it.
Love it. I knew you would. Like the cover, just
Love it.
nothing. It's whatever. Just
That's been a lot of the covers for this Phantom story though. It's like there's one with like Green Lantern on the cover. It's like he doesn't show up.
Yeah,
What's
well-
going on? Why is he on the cover?
I don't know, but this
Yeah.
is painful. This is really, and it's okay. It's not great.
It's not a bad story.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
So I want to get that out of the way first. I knew you get a kick out of the whole cover aspect of it, but I don't know if I showed this off when I got my books giving.
Maybe
sale.
that's Guy Fieri's skeleton.
Right? No, there's no blonde wing on it.
No.
And I don't know if I showed this off because this is a fat trade. The paper girl.
You mentioned getting it for books given.
Yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
because it's girth, I don't
Yeah.
think I showed it off. Now, I've been on a Brian K. Vaughan kick because I just finished Why the Last Man. And that's why I wanted to pick this up. And I got to say, have you read any Paper Girls?
I read the first 12 issues.
What did you think of it?
Didn't care for it.
Really, I am enjoying the living
Yeah.
crap out of it. I really
Yeah.
do. And it's funny that you mentioned that you picked up the individual issues.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I said to myself was, if I was buying this monthly,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have gotten it.
Because it was also in seasons. So like
Oh, okay.
it was like 6 issues, 6 months, and then it would go away for like 3 or 4 months.
Okay,
and then
he
come
does
back
that-
for a few months.
He does that with Saga too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that hurts, man. And especially because this story is so trippy and out there and wild, and quite literally all over the place as far as theories on different dimensions and time travel and what have you. That if you read it in full, as cases with this phone book,
Sure.
you will definitely, I think, enjoy it much more than you did if you had read it single issue form. And because I am on such a Brian K. Vaughan kick, he also had a Substack, Exploding Giraffe, where he has an independently owned series, Spectators.
Okay.
So I sub to it. It's $5 because Spectators is complete now, and I wanted to read it yet again in its
In one
entirety.
go. Yeah.
The other night, man, yet again, like perusing MCS for the prices of Amazing Spider-Man.
Sure.
Couldn't sleep. I read the first, it's like 300 something pages. I read almost 200 pages of it. And it was digital. It was on my phone. And I
Sure.
just couldn't stop. I was like, I found it really riveting, very interesting concept. And I really stuck with it and enjoyed it. So he's been impressing me as of late
Hmm.
with some of his offerings. That whether it's in the case of Paper Girls here, I'm diving into years after the fact, or his
Hmm.
most recent works as well. So
Very cool.
maybe I'll dig back into his Swamp Thing stuff, which I was never very kind or fond to, other than the fact it featured Tefe, which I found very impressive.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, guys, to me right now he's firing on all cylinders. So
Very cool.
Spectators will be released next year as a hardcover.
Okay.
I want to say from Dark Horse, if I am correct.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely, if you get a chance, pick that up. I think most of you out there will, in fact, enjoy it.
Cool. Cool.
And that's all I have to say about my reads at this current
Oh.
time. Um,
Hmm.
do you have anything you'd like to talk about that you've been reading?
I made a resolution to read everything I buy,
Okay.
which is odd because I got my DCBS box last week,
Uh huh.
and it's like making this resolution, then realizing, oh God, I'm gonna have to read all this stuff. It might make it to where I actually start dropping things because there's a lot of
Wow.
stuff,
Yeah.
and I separate everything because I like in the back of my mind I have this stupid X-Men podcast project I'm like thinking of doing eventually. So
Ruminating.
I yeah, so like I separate them out, and like the stack of the X-Men stuff is as big as the stack of everything else. And I'm looking, it's like Dazzler 3 and 4. Oh God, Sentinels number. Why is this a thing?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read them, so I can't really comment on the quality. It's just like the mountain of them is a bit intimidating. But I did read the newest Batman, newest Detective, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Titans, a couple of the actions
Uh huh.
from the Phantoms thing. I think I have 2 left. I got 4, as you know they're weekly. But been mostly digging all the DC stuff I've been reading. The It's weird because yeah, I don't know how you track your like what comes and what's expected to come. Like I have a spreadsheet where it's like, okay, this is my order for the month, and then like as they come in, I'll like mark them, like I'll color in the box that they're in. It's like, oh, got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. So then if there's something that's missing, I could check DCBS's site to make sure I actually ordered it. Also to make sure that like I didn't accidentally order like a variant of something else instead of it because it's very confusing. And whether or not I paid for it, you know. So like as I'm doing that this week or last week, I noticed that I didn't get the latest issue of Batman. I'm like, oh crap! Did I accidentally order 2 of the next issue or something?
Right.
Um, and I find out that the Batman book has been like delayed. Like it was supposed to be like 2 issues out in November, but like only 1 came out in December, and like 1 is going to come out in January. And I sent you a message like wondering if like this is being spaced out to make sure Hush happens when it's supposed to happen. Like they don't want to finish Zosky and then be like, okay, no Batman for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if that's the case, but
Could be.
it could be. So I was like, oh crap, am I gonna actually have to like go try to find this cover A in the wild and pay full price for it?
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's delayed. But I enjoyed it. I actually just read the latest issue of Titans like 20 minutes before we went on the air, and we talk about Arrested Development in these books, and Titans is like the poster child to
King.
me.
Yeah.
Oh lordy, where it's like every issue you get, it's almost written like in a Shooterian kind of way, where it's like Wolverine has razor sharp adamantium claws, yada yada yada, Colossus, organic steel, you know, all that kind of describey stuff. But with Titans, it's like, hey, psst, Speedy was on heroin.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
We're gonna mention it again. Raven, daughter of Trigon the Terrible. Psst. It's all this stuff, and it just refuses to stop. And and it's not a bad story. It's just like, I wonder who it's for, because clearly it's written for the fans, but the fans have seen this a million times already. You know, it's like I get playing the hits, but maybe write a new song.
Yeah.
You know.
Otherwise, you end
And
up as like a 90-year-old Frankie Valli on stage, and people say this is elderly abuse.
there you go. Where's the net funny Jello?
Yeah.
But as I'm wrapping up this issue of Titans, it gets to the like, if you're a reader of Titans and there's a last page reveal coming up and it's a villain, you know who it's going to be. And like it ends with another bad guy in a bar talking to someone in shadows, and like you turn the page and they step out of the shadows and it's Deathstroke again.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Done that
Every
over
last
and
page
over
reveal.
and over again. Yeah.
Every last page reveal in an issue of Titans is going to be Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Can we change the record? Please. Please. It's like I want to like this book. And I do. It's not bad, but it's like, give us something new. Please. And I finished the latest issue of Green Lantern earlier this morning. And it's like, it was a 3-part story, the Civil Core or whatever it's done. And it's like, next issue, Shattering the Spectrum. And it's like, we've read that before, haven't we?
I don't know, man. I mean, they're coming out with a new Green Lantern Corps book as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's going to be Jeremy Adams as well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to crap too heavy on Mr. Adams. I am going to be buying his Aquaman.
Yeah, I think I have that pre-ordered as well.
Right, and I mentioned previous episode that I'm doing it primarily for John Tim's artwork.
Yeah.
But yeah, how many times must the same themes be ridden over and over and over again before the carousel needs some oil?
Like, have you ever been in a feud with someone for years to the point where you forget what you're fighting about?
Me,
It's
no,
like,
I'm a nice guy. I don't feud.
Or just like say, like peace in the Middle East. It's like, what are we fighting for still?
Okay.
What is? That's Green Lantern. It's like it's all these different colored lanterns fighting, and it's like, if one of them would like hold up one finger and be like, "Why are we fighting?
Yeah, hold on.
What started this?" It would be 20 pages of silence, because they'd be like, "What were we fighting over?"
Yeah.
Well, you're green. I'm purple. What are we? Huh? It's this. It's. And then the spectrum shatters.
Well, you going to cancel it? You just said you're only going to be subbing to things that you're going to be dedicated
I'm
to
gonna
reading.
I'm gonna get, because I think the All In is actually starting next month.
Mm-hmm.
Even though these are branded as All In, it's like a new direction. The spectrum shattered. I'm hoping it means the spectrum's going away.
Yeah, I don't know about that, there, kiddo.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it. But I'm gonna give it a shot. I mean, I already have the next 3 issues pre-ordered anyway, so we'll see.
You know what's killing me talking about pre-orders is I kind of got my monthly sub to a reasonable amount where I could actually tell other people about it without being embarrassed.
Sure.
How much
I'm not
spending.
there yet.
Yeah. But the absolutes now, the line with it expanding.
Yeah.
And March we're gonna have 3 new titles, right? The Flash,
Really?
Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter. Wow. So 2 of those I'm gonna bite on. I'm gonna check out the Flash. I'll check out Martian Manhunter. Green Lantern, I just can't do it because Al Ewing is writing it.
Yeah.
My views on Al Ewing are not favorable.
Yeah.
But still, I'm like, even with the discount, they're $3.24 or something.
Yeah, they're still not. They're. I mean, yeah, they're still money.
Yeah, and all those add up when I start tacking on new number ones, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that too because you get excited. Oh, this is new number one, and that's something that I've always been angry at publishers for doing with relaunches and reboots.
Yeah.
New universes, things like that. But then you do find yourself every once in a while, especially because I am enjoying Absolute Batman, to kind of say, well, let me kind of see what's going on here. Let me stick my toes in the water. But yet again, when I see the cost of my monthly sub getting more inflated because of that, I'm like, should I or should I not? Should I stop? I don't know.
Because it's not like they're just dropping 1 book; it's 3.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they were doing them one at a time. I thought they were staggering.
Yeah,
them, but
staggering
I guess
would have been better, I think, personally.
Yeah.
It's much like this Action Comics run that we're saying is just
Dude, I was
vanilla.
just about to say.
It's expensive and it's weekly and it's not great. So what are you guys even doing to us here? You know what I mean? It's price gouging right now, and you're not giving us the goods.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Anyway, what now? Not to get you off the subject, because I know you love the Arrested Development topic.
Sure.
And that's something that we're going to continue to talk about in the future.
Hmm.
But didn't you mention you had recently picked something up that you wanted to show off on the show or talk about on the show? Do you want to do that now or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it has nothing to do with really anything we're
Oh,
talking about.
oh, okay. Well then, let's
No, I
nails on
mean
the
we could.
chalkboard. Dave really knows how to segue, baby. You know.
No, I mean I we talked about the Christmas season, and I don't go to the shop very often anymore.
Uh huh.
So it's weird because I used to go. I mean, there was a time where I'd go multiple times a week to different shops.
Right.
I would just be in the bins constantly, trying to fill my life with things.
Yeah.
And this holiday season, I went to one comic store, and it was over the weekend.
Uh huh.
And I only did it out of like weird obligation to myself. Like I felt weird not going to a comic store during Christmas. It's like
Sure.
so. I went. And I went to the 50-cent bins and found a few things. I found some issues of Legend of the Dark Knight I needed. Not in any sort of order or anything. Just like, oh, cool. 50 cents. Why not? But I also found they put a box of autograph books out, and like this is a really cool store. This is like the last of the original comic stores. It really feels like a '90s shop. So when I see the a box of autographed books, I'm not assuming that they're going to be like ridiculously priced. And they weren't. They were a couple of bucks each because they're not. I mean,
They don't come with certificates of authenticity.
no, there's no certificate of authenticity. It's not like something off a QVC. It's not.
Yeah.
It's nothing more than what it is.
Okay.
A fan, I guess, turned in their collection. A fan named Kevin, because a lot of these books were written to Kevin, including some with like Neil Gaiman signatures on them, which the guy at the comic shop's like, why'd they have to put his name on there? Because unless your name's Kevin, what are you going to want a Neil Gaiman signature for that's addressed to a guy named Kevin? But what I found was an autograph from one of my favorite writers, artists, who I realized I did not ever, I don't have any of his signatures. I try to get signatures from favorites. I got the Jerry Ordway one here from you. And I said, on that same topic, Dan Jurgens.
Oh wow, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I think it was like $3.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Instabuy.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm missing a bunch from this volume of Booster Gold,
Yeah.
and I don't have anything signed by Dan Jurgens. Yeah, the only thing I have from Dan Jurgens is a picture I took with him in 2016 where I weighed 100 pounds more and had a beard like down to here. I looked like a hobo. But yeah, it's nice having a Dan Jurgens autograph now in the old collection.
Yeah, right on. And I think the other thing with any of those Superman creators is because of the death of Superman and stuff, their signatures are out there in the wild quite a bit.
Oh yeah, because they did those tours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. They did those tours as you mentioned, but I ended up getting a couple different autographed items from that era,
Hmm.
and I'm tickled pink to have them. But yeah, the
Hmm.
values on them aren't like through the roof or anything
No.
because yet again they're fairly commonplace.
Oh yeah.
But still super cool, man. If I
Yeah.
saw that, I would have jumped out of my shoes to buy it.
No, it's really, really neat. I was glad to come across it. It's like the perfect cover for it too, because the signature is like right in there perfectly.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yep. Plus, you have it in
Yeah.
like that nice mylar.
It came in that,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
That
I was
nice
like, wow,
bag. Yeah, I like those. Those are nice.
yeah, the
Sharp.
hard shell type of gimmick
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
Very cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
indeed.
not to, because I'm terrible yet again at just changing topics here,
Hmm.
but I want to mention this before I forget.
Hmm.
And I should probably go back to our Christmas screen, but I won't
Okay.
because this is Christmas related.
Hmm.
Now, Christmas, you watch a lot of holiday movies, right? We talked about
Sure.
last week with Bada Blurt, named our favorite Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, we went through quite a few of those yesterday during the span of the day, but at the nighttime, at the end of all the festivities, my wife chose a film, and she has this fondness for like these apocalyptic, world-ending, dime a dozen movies.
Sure.
So she chose this one called 2012, which was
Hmm.
like this global warming event that was destroying the Earth, and only billionaires could afford to survive on this spaceship or some crap or whatever.
All right.
And I'm only bringing this up because to me, many apologies to my wife, but I found it to be such a downer. to end the night having that. And I wasn't even paying attention. I was reading Paper Girls or whatever.
Sure.
But even that in the background, I'm like, today was a day of joy. Today was a day of wonder and magic. And what do you decide to cap it off with? Oh,
Armageddon.
the end of the earth, the end of days, and how only the wealthy will survive. And I was actually reading, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, man, if the world started boiling over, I'd be pretty screwed. I just have to embrace it. Be like, okay, this is it. See you later. And the reason why I thought about it was you had just mentioned, like, yeah, things. I have all these things or something alike. And I'm like, what's all of our stuff worth? We collect all this stuff. We love all this stuff. But then when the earth boils over, sayonara, sucker.
Oh, yeah.
So
when we boil over, where does this stuff go?
In my arms. My loved ones will be trying to clasp or grasp at me and be like, come here. It's Mount Vesuvius. We're going to be immortalized as figures of love. And I'm like, no. Coco, come here, Coco.
Coco.
Coco. You're coming with me, baby. You know?
I often wonder, like, if something were to happen to me, what happens to
Oh, God.
all the shit?
Oh, boy.
You know?
Maybe we should move on from this one because I don't want to make this into a
This could be
Debbie
too down.
Downer. I know, but I've thought about that many times because my loved ones have no idea. And I think I'll have to leave my will. Just sell everything for $1 because here's my thought process behind that. At least then they'll still make out pretty good just by the quantity, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean? But rather than haggling or getting ripped off.
The guy's going to come in with the scale.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to get ripped off anyway because they don't know what something's worth, and
Yeah.
they probably don't know how to do the proper research.
Yeah,
anyway.
they're going to know what Detective 880 is worth?
Yeah, exactly. Is it worth $1 when you're dead? You know, so maybe that's the place I'll go. But yeah, let's save that for future time because yet again, I want to keep riding that Christmas high.
Yeah, we'll save that for a happier day.
You know, I almost ruined it, or my wife almost ruined it with her choice of film. But yeah,
We're always only one step or two away from Armageddon.
I know, right?
The doomsday clock is ticking.
But what would you have thought? Would you have been in the same boat as me if your wife was just like, hey, yeah, so we just finished Home Alone 2. How about 2012? What do you say we watch this thing where the earth cracks in half? Sound good?
Yeah, that's not up my alley.
Yeah.
I'm
like, well.
No, yesterday, like while I was cooking, I put on Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Okay.
And just had that playing all day in the background while I was cooking. So that was when I'm cooking, I like black and white. You know, it makes it feel like I don't really have a semblance of what home is, but you know, you make your own, I guess. And black and white just makes it feel like home. Makes it feel like it's a special day. I don't know.
Something I had texted you that really, really messed with my mind was I put on It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
And it was re-scored it. So they
new music
on it, and I almost found it unwatchable. It was bothering me that much that they just completely changed all the music for it, and I knew right out of the gates because you normally hear the ding dong, the bells.
Okay.
And they put some. It's so modern.
Oh.
And
total juxtaposition.
Yeah, it's not even trying to sound old timey or original or in tune with the film. It's just like this could be a Hallmark Christmas movie theme song. But we're going to put it to It's a Wonderful Life, and it really bothered me, man. Like, I was just totally thrown. I mean, not as much as if I saw Guy Fieri on a DC Comics cover.
Or ringing a bell to give angels their wings.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do have a penchant for enjoying young boys getting slapped by pharmacists. So, I mean...
I missed that. What is that?
It's a Wonderful Life when George Bailey, his boss, the pharmacist, gets a telegram that his son died in the war. Okay. So the pharmacist is, woo-woo, getting a little lubricated. He's bummed out, and he switches the medications. He sent in George on a delivery and gives him poison to give to the woman as her medicine. So George disappears. He tries to go get advice from his dad at the savings and loan and different people, but they're like, yeah, go away, George, I'm busy. So when he comes back, he still has the medicine, and his boss is still super drunk.
Sure.
He's like, what do you mean? He's on the phone. He's like, what do you mean? I sent him that 2 hours ago. And then when George comes back, and he's like, where were you? He's like, I'm sorry, but you're depressed about your son. You don't know what you do, but it's poison. And he's like, come here. And he slaps him. And he slaps him in the ear that he's deaf in.
Oh, wow.
And so George starts bleeding. He's like, oh, it's my bad ear. And then when he explains the whole situation in depth to the guy, he breaks down, starts crying. He's like, George, I'm so sorry.
I
So
didn't realize that was such a hardcore movie.
yeah, dude, that's dude.
Yeah.
It's almost 80 years old. It's
Mm-hmm.
whether you're religious and believe in angels or not, whether
Mm-hmm.
the themes or like my son, he won't watch it because it's old.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Frank Capra, Jimmy Stewart, just I mean, what's her name?
Donna Reed.
Donna Reed, Smoke
Mm-hmm.
Show back 80 years ago. By the way, hope it's not wrong to say that about someone who's
Too soon.
left the mortal coil. But uh, yeah, dude, fantastic movie. And the original score, there was nothing wrong with it. So
Mm.
why
Yeah, it's
why
weird that they
fix
changed
it
it.
if it ain't broke?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
maybe they'll rescore 2012, 80
Mm-hmm.
years from now, and make it sound like a Teletubbies theme song.
There you
Oh
go.
God, I almost blew something out of my nose I shouldn't have. Full disclosure, Dave's a mess. So I switch over to Chris while I
Yeah,
do terrible things. So,
there you go.
Chris, do you have anything else you want to add, or should we bada babble, or what's going on here, man?
We could bada babble.
You want to
Yeah,
do that?
why
Because
not?
Chris Yu, who I think we're going to
Hmm.
rename the segment Chris Yu's Bada Babble, or You Said It.
Yeah, yeah. You said it.
He's always commenting on our videos and making sure that he writes emails. So without further ado, what do you say we hit it?
Let's do it. It says, hello, the Bada Bin Show. I hope you both had the merriest of Christmases. I listened to the last marathon episode while I was at work, and let me tell you, I've never had that much that much fun at work before. Excellent episode. But enough praise, let's Bada Babble. He says, I have committed myself to reading every Absolute DC book through its first arc before I decide whether to drop them or not. I think I need to give each creative team a chance to complete one story before passing judgment. I liked issue 2 of Absolute Superman more than issue 1, so it may just need time to find its footing. Absolute Wonder Woman number 2 introduced more of her supporting cast and is filling out the universe more. Since everything is written for trade, I think I need to see the complete story for the trade. And I just found out that Absolute Flash is going to be Wally West, so I'm in on that one. I didn't know which Flash it was going to be. Um,
I didn't either until I read his email.
yeah, you just never know. It's weird how Wally is kind of back in vogue now, where when they did like Flash Rebirth back in what 09, 010, 2010,
Uh huh.
like Wally was just like shoved. It's like no, no, don't mention his name ever again. He's gone. Not a big deal anymore.
Well, and then he had Tom King work his magic on him. So there you go. Yeah, is right. They were gonna coin that the Guy Fieri grunt.
Yeah, and it's I was reading those Green Arrows, the Dawn of DC ones,
Mm-hmm.
and there's an arc of that is a follow up to Heroes in Crisis.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. Because Roy is back; he's alive again, and Ollie is working for Amanda Waller, and he has to go get Sanctuary, that mask from Heroes in Crisis. And I was like, oh no, 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 no.
Yeah. Ouch.
But yeah, I was kind of hoping that would be taken out of our continuity, but I guess not.
Real quick though, to comment on his email as far as
Mhm.
the writing for the trade, he's absolutely correct,
Yes, true,
and that
true,
you
true.
really want to, hold judgment until you kind of see the bigger picture and everything. To that, I would say,
But
but yeah, for me as a reader, when I see a spark of creativity or a concept, I might think is because listen, everything's been carbon copied and done. It's much like you were
Mhm.
saying with your Arrested Development, where it's like, what else new can be put out into the universe for these characters that,
sure,
much like It's a Wonderful Life, have been around forever. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So if I do find something to be a wee bit clever, or something that makes me go, "Huh, I didn't think of that,"
hmm
that might be enough of a hook for me to
hmm
stick around on it on its own. You know what I mean? Even if the
sure,
story is a little wonky or a little iffy, you know what I mean? It's like when we talked about, and Chris, you actually brought this up too with the Bat vehicle dump truck
oh, the
thing.
tank, yeah,
Yeah,
or the whatever it was, yeah.
right. And then how I read issue 3. You haven't received that one yet?
No, no, I haven't
Okay.
gotten that
Well,
one yet.
this is fairly spoiler free,
Hmm.
but Dragotta, his pacing in the way that he does panels is fairly interesting, and I wouldn't say unique, but
Hmm.
I think it's more of a fresher take. But there is a
Okay.
conversation on top of that battle mobile.
The mech, yeah.
Yeah, the mech that I was kind of like, I'm not crazy about it. But then later in the issue, they kind of threw something out there. I'm like, that was kind of smart.
Okay.
So there's things that turn me on and turn me off, and what have you there. But I don't know. Do you feel the same way about that? Like if something kind of, you mentioned detective, and there was a
Sure.
twist on Joe Chill,
Yeah.
and you're like, huh?
It,
Why haven't we done this before? Or
for
why
sure.
haven't I
For
heard
sure.
about this?
Yeah. No, that's I would definitely stick with something if I saw a spark of, because we're doing an alternate universe here,
Uh huh.
and it's like some stuff just feels like it's going to be different for the sake of being different,
Yeah.
and that's like not great. um, you know, like the Bat villains are now Bruce's friends, and Lois Lane is now like a soldier hunting down Superman. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like we have a whole new universe and world to play with, and this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna play opposite day.
Well, there you go. The solicits for example, the Flash, the new
Mm,
Flash is like, he doesn't have the Speed Force. He doesn't have this. He doesn't. So, what the hell is going on? How are you going to establish
hmm.
this character?
Yeah.
And at first, it's very unappealing. I
Hmm.
know for me in particular with the Absolute Superman, where it's like no Kents, no Daily Planet, none of these things where Superman to me, his goodness, his kindness, his
This
the
is
reason
human
the
side.
reason why you love Superman, this all
Yeah.
powerful being who could destroy the world, rule everything, but decides no, I want to help people. His
Yeah. This is
foundation is laid in
humanity.
humanity in the Kents
Yeah.
and the different people that he had met along the way. So, what kind of Superman are you going to get? And it turned out that we get that more social justice
Hmm.
Superman. Is now, remains to be seen as far as his true motives and what have you. But yeah, I do. I'm sorry. Before I get too far in the weeds, I do think there is a little bit of grace that is given when I find something to be remotely clever.
Sure.
That's all.
But I think going back to Chris Yu's email from last time, he says like, why aren't these just new characters?
Mm. Because they wouldn't sell as well,
I mean, we know that
right?
for sure.
You can't make
But
toys out of them immediately. You can't make
no,
Funko
no,
Pops
you
out
can't.
of them. It's collector
Yeah,
culture involved in that as well. It's
it's
like
true. It's
you
true.
can make T-shirts and hats, and I can't wait to get my hands
Yeah,
on the absolute Batman symbol hat, which
but
isn't
it's
true, but still, I'm just throwing it out there in the
sure,
universe.
sure. But it's weird how we have these established creators
Mm.
doing these stories for these characters they don't own, which tells you it's like it's not going to be their best stories. They're saving their best stories for their own stuff, which they should do, of course. But it's like, do we need? I mean, need is such a weird word when talking about this kind of
I know,
thing.
right? It's not
But
air. It's not food. It's not
yeah,
water.
we're kind of high up on the Maslow hierarchy here, talking about
Right.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Chris here.
Okay. Sounds good.
He says you mentioned FOMO. FOMO is the reason I bought the entire run of John Byrne's Doom Patrol. Ooh.
Guy Fieri grunt. Ugh.
Ugh. He had dropped both X Factor and the Connor Hawk Green Arrow series 3 months before they were canceled. And the completionist in me needed to go back and track down those last 3 issues from each series to have a complete run. So even though Byrne's Doom Patrol was bad, and it was, I didn't want to drop it 3 or 4 issues before it was canceled. And I was sure that cancellation was just around the corner every month. The Byrne Doom Patrol. Oh, God. That was bad. Did you read any of that? Have we talked about this? I don't know.
No, but I mean, there's a specific era of John Byrne which was less than
Turn
prime.
of the century. Yeah.
Yeah, he was churning out some stuff, and it's why?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he was getting paid. I don't know how much he had in his bank account, or even how much as a creator he needed to express himself.
Sure.
But some of that material, no, just don't do it. Please stop.
Oh man, yeah, and his art got so much looser around that time. Like I think he was the artist on Action Comics when Gail Simone was writing it back in the day,
You are correct, sir.
and the art was just not good, not great at all. But that Doom Patrol, it's like, hey, you guys like Doom Patrol? Yeah, 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 we do. Well, forget all that because this is John Byrne's Doom Patrol, and it's like I on his. Have you ever been to Byrne Robotics, the forum?
No, I have not.
Lucky man.
Thanks.
It is a tough place to go. I don't even know if it's still a place, but I remember popping in there back in the day, and it's basically the altar of John Byrne. Like where if you question anything about anything, you're banned, you're slammed, you're just run out of town. And like his Doom Patrol, I remember him saying like nobody got Doom Patrol right before me. Like going back like through Morrison, through Arcudi, through Kupperberg, through the original creators. It's like nobody got these characters
Right.
like I do, and it was so bad. It was
Well,
brutal.
you know, speaking of like earning grace through
Mm.
creativity, all right, so John Byrne, there we go. We're talking about his forums and him being an
Hmm.
opinionated prick and
Hmm.
being rude. It's almost like you can't even tolerate the guy, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Well, somebody may say, Dave, you're signing up for all this absolute, but why not Green Lantern? Why do you keep crapping on Al Ewing? Al
Hmm.
Ewing, to me, in many ways, did the same things with social media,
Oh
but
yeah,
he never
yeah.
earned the right to do that because he didn't do anything that good. You know, I know a lot of people loved his Immortal Hulk run.
Hmm.
Huge Hulk fan. I read a few issues of it, and I'm like, it's just. I know I'm super guilty of verbal diarrhea and stuff, but
Sure,
he was
sure.
just being wordy for wordy's sake.
Same,
Speaking of
same.
Burn, Mr. Word Balloon, it's like a little drawing here of a face, 3/4 of the panel, balloons. But yeah, you know, you almost think, okay, John Byrne earned that right. Maybe, no, kind of, or even okay, his art sucks, his Doom Patrol sucked. We get it, but he did so much good. You
Yeah.
got to throw some crap out there, or you can throw some crap out there, and you're not completely eliminated from your legendary status. Does that make any
Okay.
sense?
You
Is
get
that fair?
grace. Yeah, you get a little bit of grace. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why. I mean, anytime Chris Claremont writes something, I check it out. Even though, like Claremont of today, and even Claremont of 20 years ago, is not the Claremont of old.
Right.
You know, it's don't know. Um, Now, what Chris, you raises this point here, dropping books as they're being canceled here. I don't know if we talked about this much before.
No, I don't think we have really.
Now, have you ever like seen the writing on the wall of a book, and or they announced a cancellation, or they announced like what was coming next, and you knew that a cancellation was imminent because okay, well, this is a team book, but all the characters from this team are being introduced to this team, so this team's got to go away.
I don't know if I can think of anything specific off the top of my head where I just
Mm.
completely saw the writing was on the wall. I mean,
Mhm.
there's one title in particular I want to name, but I don't remember if it's because I felt it or because they even announced it in like the letters
Okay,
pages. But like Captain Marvel, the Peter David Captain
David.
Marvel,
Okay,
I I don't know if that came to an abrupt end or like 4 issues ahead of time. They said we're wrapping this up.
I
But
don't
when he
remember.
became like the Kree soldier again and everything, I kind of felt like where this feels like it's not the
It
same.
lost its
It's
identity.
losing the tones that really
Yeah.
attracted me to the book to begin with. You know what I
It
mean?
became more serious.
I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah.
yeah. The that was like post you decide
Okay.
because they did there was that run that they did like in what it started like 97 or so,
Yeah.
and that was the fun one. And then they canceled it to relaunch it for that you decide gimmick that they did with Bill Jemas and Joe Quesada, where they were doing the sales contest, where Jemas had Marvel. Quesada launched Ultimate Adventures, which was like Batman and Robin in the Ultimate Universe, and then Peter David relaunched Captain Marvel with
Right.
a decidedly different tone. But yeah, I don't remember if that one was an abrupt drop or it was something like, "Hey, you know, part two of six, six is it, we're
Yeah.
done."
I
I
do
don't remember.
remember something that I didn't think was ending, but ended.
Hmm.
So slamming on the brakes and leaving me completely shocked and stunned and disappointed was Duggan's Incredible Hulk
Okay,
material. I've talked about that on the show before when they
sure.
just pushed him aside for totally awesome. But like this does
Oh, for
not
the
feel done.
yeah,
This
yeah.
has more, this has legs. This is more that can be told here. So what
Hmm.
happened with that? And maybe it was intended to be like that. I don't know. I've never done my due diligence in investigating the matter to find out what happened, but I
Yeah,
was none too happy about it because I was like, this is the Hulk story I want.
yeah,
This is the direction I've been waiting for a long time. And then
yeah.
just I went to go buy the Hulk the next month, and it was like, It's not that anymore.
Amadeus
It's
Cho.
this. And I'm like, okay.
No, Marvel slammed the brakes on a lot of books around that time,
Yeah.
just to usher in some new takes on stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that Chris names X Factor here. X Factor at the end of that run, the Howard Mackie stuff.
Uh-huh.
Brutal. Oh, some of the worst X-Men comics. And I mean, there's a lot of bad X-Men out there, but this was bad. And it led into I don't know have you read Mutant
Of
X?
course I did. You kidding me? Writer X?
No,
Oh,
that was Brotherhood.
oh,
That was
Brotherhood.
the
I'm sorry.
Brotherhood.
Yeah, you're right. But Mutant X was when you had
Havoc.
Havoc in the alternate universe, and Beast was like this
Hmm.
amphibious figure,
Yep.
and was it Storm who was a vampire?
Vampire. Yep.
Dude, yeah. You know what though? I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, tired. Then,
Hmm.
cool. And
For the first like 6 or so issues, it was okay.
I couldn't tell you the quality of the issues. I couldn't even begin,
Oh,
and I own them. I couldn't even tell you if they were good or not. But I can tell you at the time when they came out, I'm like, damn, that's a great idea. Like
sure.
this is wonderful. I love this. I think this is great. It's brilliant. Cheers. Wonderful job, Mackie. But yeah, you're right. The Brotherhood was when he was writer X.
He was Writer X,
Yes,
yeah.
but
And
that
that
was
was
not good. That I can
horrendous.
tell you with absolute certainty. The concept
Cool
wasn't
covers.
cool. Well, here's the
Cool
thing.
covers.
I think I was buying that because like Dupe was on the cover,
Yeah, he was on the last issue.
and I was like, "Hey, man, Dupe, all right, sounds great." And I read it. I'm like, "This sucks.
Oh yeah, it
This
was brutal.
stinks. Oh my
It
god,
was
yeah.
so bad.
Oh boy,
The Connor Hook Green Arrow series, that was what wrapped up like Ollie's first ongoing, because Ollie died I think in issue 101 of Green Arrow Volume 2, and I think the series went on with Connor until like issue 135 or 138, something like that. And I remember when the Kevin Smith issue came out that we looked at during the Price Guide is Right, I went and I picked up that last issue. It might have been 137. I don't know. But I went and picked up that one too. And it was like in a dollar bin. It wasn't like anything special. And that was the book that was worth a lot of money in the years to follow because it was in such short supply. The print run was like non-existent because they knew it was going away. They knew it was going to be replaced with something that was going to sell. I do think DC does shorten their or shrink their orders on things they want to relaunch to make the jump look that much more impressive. Like a lot of the stuff leading into the New 52, like those last issues of certain books are the ones that are worth a lot of money because they were in such short supply. And I think a lot of that was by design to make the number ones from the New 52 look that much more better
what
or
about
much
the
more healthy.
Didn't you bring up the Marvel series Long Shot? Was it Long Shot? Is
Shatterstar.
Shatterstar? Thank you, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. With Tim Seeley, and it had like a print
Yep.
run of 3.
Yeah. Like it was like barely into the quadruple digits.
Yeah,
Oh man, it's like it's sad. It's sad.
yeah.
Brutally sad. But I mean and they're not worth anything either.
No, but
Because I yeah.
the writing on the wall was right there when the printer was like, the minimum we can print
Yeah.
is 20 copies. Okay,
Mhm.
done, sold.
It's like it's like
Shatterstar.
we'll do 8 of those and we'll print cereal boxes for the rest of the trip.
There we go.
Yeah,
Right,
for it.
exactly.
Go
Yeah.
for it. Oh boy. Chris continues.
Okay.
I like the flashback legs. He liked the flashback land segment. You should bring that segment back whenever you want. I've got a oh lordy,
Here
I got
we
a
go.
few more years on both of you. I'm at that point. In 1989 and 1990, I was 17 and 18 years old. I graduated high school and started college in those 2 years. I was cashing my paycheck from my part-time after-school job and then driving directly to the comic shop every Thursday. I remember going to see the 1989 Batman movie at the local mall with my 3 best friends. It was showing on 2 screens, and there were 2 lines. One line for ticket buyers and another line for ticket holders who had already stood in for the first line, who were waiting to let in to be seated. Batman was on screen 1 in the main theater and on screen 3, a smaller theater off to the side. We had to walk past theaters 4, 3, and 2 to get to theater 1. We were stopped in line in front of theater 3, the smaller theater which was showing Batman, and asked the usher guarding the door if we could go sit in that theater instead of having to go to theater 1, and he said sure, and we were the first people in there and got perfect seats.
I'm chuckling because when I first read that email, I considered this to be like a math
A
problem.
yeah. The bullet train from Los Angeles. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the second half of that is like, what usher takes his job that serious anyway? No, you can't sneak into that picture. You kidding me? I could be fired for this. You know?
Oh, hell no.
Hell no. But yeah, it's like if you go to see Batman in 1989 in Theater 1, but the line is too long, so you, you walk to the usher. I was just like, man, I had to read that a couple times to fully understand it. And Chris, I'm sorry, Mr. Yu, I love your emails, I really do. But that one had me stumped for a second. I was like, this is a tongue twister, obviously.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, my tongue is in knots at the best of times.
Yes.
Chris continues here. I remember being excited to buy the 3-issue arc in Batman written by Sam Hamm, the screenwriter.
Yes, right. The windshield wiper of Batman '89.
Yeah, I am the window viper. As a screenwriter for the Batman movie, I couldn't tell you more than one thing about that story arc today, but it was at the top of my reading pile every month back then. You know, I actually pulled that one out months ago because I wanted to check it out because I'd found the what was it? The original script for the Batman movie.
Okay.
That's been floating around online for a while, like the original Sam Hamm script that wasn't changed any. And I mean, it really, it felt like it would have made it like a 14-hour long movie, and it wouldn't have added much. But then I grabbed those Sam Hamm ones out of the long box, and I just never got around to reading them. Do you remember reading those?
I don't. And my most recent memories of Sam Hamm are not very good because I did not enjoy the Batman '89 series.
Sure.
And I didn't sub to Echoes, the second part of that, because I was fairly disappointed. And it was, advertised as being basically this is what the Batman sequel would have been.
Yeah.
Between Batman 1 and Batman 2. Had Sam Hamm been given the liberty to go with what he wanted to, and I was just like, it wasn't that great. It really.
Okay.
So, no, I can't. I'm glad he was excited for it at the time. It's wonderful. It's great to be excited about things, but
because that was like right around Batman 400, right? It was like right before right before year one.
It could have been,
and the New Adventures, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Memories.
True
of
that.
The way we were.
Chris continues. Marvel had an initiative in 1990 that launched 6 new monthly series. Dave mentioned the New Warriors, but it was only one of those 6 new books. The other 5 were the debut of the Dan Ketch Ghost Rider, the John Byrne
Here we
John
go,
Byrne
baby.
Namor series.
Yeah.
Todd McFarlane's Adjective-less Spider-Man, Jim Valentino, our man Guy Fieri's the Guy Fieri's of the Galaxy.
Yes.
And the sales sensation of 1990, RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarence Boddicker, you're coming with me.
Never seen it.
Namor loved it. And
Yeah.
speaking of John Byrne's art, he was doing all like that cross hatching and everything at that point in time.
The 90s gimmick. Yeah.
Oh, but dude, I loved and Sludge. Oh, dude, like I remember even going into like a Walden Books and seeing that Namor stuff on a comic rack, and being like, I need to own this. This is awesome. And I would have absolute zero love or any kind of like admiration for Namor if it wasn't for that John Byrne run.
Sure.
And I have a good chunk of that series because he eventually ceded to, it was like Jay Lee took over.
Jay Lee, like the Savage Namor.
The Savage and stuff. But, and the tail end of his stuff with Iron Fist in there and what have you, but the first, I want to say 6 to 10 issues.
I was gonna say like first dozen or so.
Yeah, right on, man.
Because he he was like running like an environmental company or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you had what was her name? Scalp Hunter, the woman who had the razor blades on her fingers.
Oh, yeah.
She was all like pink with the sunglasses, and she kind of looked like a Dick Tracy villain. Coincidentally, we talked about Dick Tracy last time out, but yeah, like I don't know, man. I thought that was excellent. I reread that. Like the first 10 issues or whatever not too long ago, and I was still like, these aren't half bad. So so there you go. For every Doom Patrol,
there's a Namor.
There's a Namor. And as far as the other titles being launched, the
Guy Fieri's of the Galaxy.
Guy Fieri's of the Galaxy, which just rolled off the tongue for you. You're stumbling and bumbling over
but that
this
came
entire email, but that was just like butter. That was easy for you. But yeah, like it doesn't matter because New Warriors was still the most impressive, I think. If you put them all in front of a 12-year-old kid in 1990, I mean, I guess RoboCop.
Maybe Ghost Rider.
You know what though? Yeah. I guess I can see that because he's like the anti-hero.
Yeah. And
Um,
Ghost Rider, that's the only comic I've never, I never see anywhere. That first issue of the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. With, like, the sideways a corner box. Or, not the corner box, like, where the Spider-Man head would be. It's, like, turned to the side. It's
okay,
weird.
I
Yeah.
would not have been able to say that. I did not realize the corner box was sideways on that.
It was, yeah.
Well, there you go. There's a little bit of weird comics history, if you will,
There you go.
from the
There you
man
go.
himself, Chris. But yeah, no, you put him on a rack. New Warriors is going to grab you and go, damn, that's the one I want. Even
There's
that
a lot of
Namor
good
number
stuff.
one cover is still very impressive. Him soaring up like that, like, yeah,
And we got Todd in there, too.
meh.
I mean that's a solid little imagine that. Marvel has an initiative in 2025. We're going to launch 6 new books.
Uh huh.
That's it.
Takes two hands to announce. 6.
Imagine that. That's it.
Yeah.
And not 6 new number ones a month, but 6 new books for the year.
Yeah. Well,
Imagine that.
that is something else. You're right.
They might actually be 6 books that are worth a damn. Who knows?
We'll find out on the price guide is right.
Mhm.
Hold on, let me cue the music. Ghost Rider 1. Corner box is crooked. Let's find how much it's worth. I can't sing. All right, as you were.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Chris continues.
Please.
I bought the regular cover to Spider-Man #1 and the black and silver one, even though the black and gold, and even got the black and gold second printing cover. You got to get them all. DC's Invasion and Morrison's Doom Patrol went hand in hand since Invasion was used to clear away any Doom Patrol characters Morrison didn't want to use. I remember having the Daily Planet Invasion edition, an actual newspaper covering the events of Invasion, a great piece of comics ephemera. And that, I think, is up there. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, go digging, baby. And as he goes away, I'll adjust his screen because his head was getting cut off a little bit.
Let's see here.
All right, what do you got there?
I got a small stack of ephemera here. Something I actually took out of the garbage at a comic store here. This isn't the thing that we're talking about here, but something maybe worth looking at. A new Universe poster. The comic shop was going to throw it out. You believe that?
Is every title represented on that poster?
Yes.
Wow.
Every last one. This is something my buddy Walt sent me. Chris Claremont signed facsimile edition of the first appearance of Gambit.
Nifty.
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another newspaper. Massive Quake Rocks Gotham.
Didn't you do a giveaway with that?
I meant to. I think I have both copies here. I meant to. Just never got that far.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. Oh, my DC stamps.
Very nice.
My Blue Beetle fan.
Indeed. Groovy.
And finally, what Chris Hughes was talking about. There you go. Earth to Invaders, Drop Dead. And it's actually a full-blown newspaper. Pretty cool stuff.
It is cool. Very
And
cool.
we've got like this Kirby-looking Newsboy Legion type guy here, saying extra.
Extra, read all about it.
Yeah. And the reason I wanted this, and I found it in the comic store for like $5,
Uh-huh.
but I remember like when you'll see like a shot of the Daily Planet, like where like Perry's walking through the halls and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and there'll be like the famous picture of Superman dead that Jimmy took at the end of 75, and then this one would be hanging on the wall frame too. And it's like, I want that.
But,
And there it is.
But you will not frame it. You will merely put it up on a shelf.
One of these days,
There you go.
who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll look like a Mayor Perry White one of these days. I don't know.
Okay.
Chris continues.
Yes.
The X-Men spoofed Invasion when they were in the Outback phase of the team. In Invasion, there was a gene bomb, Gene, while the X-Men had a gene bomb, Jean, that looked like Jean Grey. And I do remember that. I remember seeing that in Wizard. Wizard had brought, like, it was like an in-joke article, and they mentioned that.
If
That was
I,
the first time I saw that.
If I remember correctly, a friend of ours, Bill Beer,
Yeah.
of the Bat Pod, that's like one of his favorite X-Men issues.
Okay.
And I know it's got, spoofy, parody, invasion
Sure.
vibes to it, but, trying to do some comedy, nothing wrong with that. A little
Yeah.
change of
Comedy's
pace.
hard.
Yeah,
Comedy's
you
hard.
got that right.
Yeah. Chris continues.
Okay.
Acts of Vengeance was huge because it was the first Marvel summer crossover not centered on the X-Men books. It was an Avengers-centered crossover, and I was an Avengers guy. Sadly, Acts wasn't as good as any of the prior X-Men crossovers, so the next year it was back to the X-Men crossovers again with Inferno. The Avengers' big 300th issue anniversary part was not even blah, 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 blah. The Avengers' big number 300 anniversary issue was even part of Inferno. How quickly they had fallen from the crossover top spot. Now, growing up when we did, I thought the Avengers were like pathetic. How about you?
Um, you know, I well, okay, all right. I'm trying to be fair here
Hmm.
because how many times have you heard either I or anybody say Superman was lame when I was a kid, man? Because you're just all powerful and like
Sure, sure.
you want some weakness there, some vulnerability. And I just brought up
Yeah,
anti-heroes with like Ghost Rider. That's what kids are into, right?
sure.
Avengers, especially in the early '90s, was lame as hell.
They were
Um,
dorks.
and what was his name? They had the character Rage,
Rage, uh-huh.
and he became an Avenger. And
Yep.
I was like, I can't dig this man. And if I remember correctly, he beat the hell out of Doctor Doom at like a holiday party or something. But
Wouldn't surprise me.
his
I think
origin.
Bob Harris was writing that.
Oh, okay, all right. I
Yeah,
want to
the
say
editor.
Paul Ryan was drawing some of those too. Was it Paul
Probably.
Ryan? But anyway, yeah, I was not digging the Avengers, and I would pick some up at random
Sure.
just for whatever, because I'm at store 24 or some convenience store. I need something to
Yeah.
read, so whatever the Avengers. And it's going,
Yeah.
nah, this ain't doing it for me. And this was yet again in the early '80s. But then, hey, here's a name that we hear quite a bit, right? Roger Stern. I've
Uh-huh.
already brought him up when I was talking about the ASM stuff that I was looking at
Yeah.
price checking on. Um, he is not 100%er. Nobody
But he did
is.
that Under Siege story, which was
He did
fantastic.
some really, when you think back on all these legendary comic book franchises, when
Yeah,
he did some really legendary stuff with them.
absolutely.
So when you talk about like Avenger stuff, I'm like, yeah, man, I'll totally dig in the Roger Stern stuff.
Oh yeah.
Sure, you know. So
Yeah, but the Bob Harris stuff with like Cersei and
yeah,
like Hercules
S-
with like no beard
was
and
it
a mullet and a head sock.
Stingray? Was
Yeah.
that the yeah, dude? I was
The-
just like, I don't know, man. I can't jive. Doctor Druid, yeah, okay. I'll,
Gilgamesh. Yeah.
yeah, no, please, no.
Yeah.
That's just Jim Valentino in a Grand Poobah hat. That's what Gilgamesh was.
Gilga Guy Fieri.
Gilga Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri Gamesh.
I've come with my trash can nachos, Cap.
The nachos that the forgotten nachos.
Yeah,
Oh
keeping
boy.
rage fed. There you
Yeah.
go.
I remember Blood Blood Ties, I think it was, the X-Men and Avengers 30th anniversary story. That was like the first Avengers stuff I read or bought. It was just like, oh, this is so lame. These characters are dorky. It's weird how like they flipped the switch in the even the late 90s when Chili Dog and Perez were on the book.
Yeah.
They brought it back to like it wasn't in the forefront sales wise, but story wise, it was fantastic stuff.
You know why
Really.
I could never buy that run, no matter
Huh.
what? It's because they had a character named Triathlon,
Oh yeah, the 3D man. Yeah.
and I thought it was like the lamest concept I'd ever heard in my life.
Mhm. I don't remember his whole story. I remember there was like a big will they won't they with him with like whether or not he was going to join the team.
Oh boy,
Um,
riveting.
I mean, they were trying something new. They were
Yeah.
trying something new, a new character, which we don't get anymore.
Okay,
Um,
I get it. But I mean, you know,
he still wasn't very cool. Yeah.
at that point in time, I'm into like more adult stuff. So
Mhm.
you're not winning me over by saying, yeah, will you, won't you, Triathlon
Sure, sure.
join
But
the
it was
team?
it was kind of a back to basics series, like not in the John Byrne sense. I always say that because like his back to basics for Hulk was marrying him. It's like,
Okay.
that's not back to basics, buddy. But it felt very back to basics. I think they realized that they'd gone a little bit too far pre-Onslaught, and then in the Heroes Reborn universe with Lee and Liefeld, and they just brought it back to a more traditional story, like probably a callback to the Stern sort of stuff.
If I was to
And
open
not
my CLZ right now, I'm sorry to jump in there.
sure.
But you will find like random chunks of Avengers runs. Like when Jeff Johns was on it for a short stint, I have
Oh
some of
yeah,
that.
Mm-hmm.
Bendis, New
Sure.
Avengers, things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. But I really do not have a very good collection of Avengers books.
I probably have about 40 years straight,
So
but
yeah,
that's one that I dropped. That is one that I was able to, because like when the at the end of the Hickman stuff, I was kind of over it, and then like they brought like Wade in and they did like all new, all different Avengers, and I kept with that for a bit, and then it was I don't remember where it went after that, but then like the Jason Aaron stuff started and everything was a multiversal something else, and I don't even know who is it McKay who's writing it now, or I couldn't even tell you who's
it
writing it
might
now.
be. I don't
Yeah,
remember
because
either.
I feel like McKay is writing like half the books Marvel puts out right now, so it might be him. But I wasn't even. I think I grabbed the first issue, and I don't even think I read it. So what are you gonna do? Back to Chris Yu. By the time of Extinction Agenda, I had a few letters printed in West Coast Avengers and Adjectiveless Spider-Man, and I wanted to get a letter published in an X-Men book. I wrote a letter responding to every issue of Extinction Agenda, all to no avail. I never did get a letter published in an X-Men book.
I'm glad we
Now,
filled the gap. I'm glad we we're the we're the end point of his. He's like, man, I've been published, and now what do? I write these friggin' schmucks on YouTube every week.
these dorks. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. Have you ever had a letter published?
yes, a
You
couple
have,
times, sure.
really?
Uh,
I feel like I was just after. Like I never even had an inclination to write it.
this ties into like everything we've talked about today,
Awesome.
because when Matthew Rosenberg took over the Punisher and did the Punisher War Machine,
Okay.
that was one of those concepts where I'm like, hell yeah, I
Hmm.
like this. This is different. I'm into this. And I
Hmm.
wrote a glowing letter,
Hmm.
and it got published. At that time, I
Okay.
was living in Mexico, so I wasn't buying physical comics. I was only reading them digitally.
Gotcha.
So when I returned to the States, it didn't even dawn on me, and I can't remember the number of the issue now. I'd have to look it up.
Sure.
But I was like, I'd like to get that issue because I'm in it. My
Yeah.
letter,
Yeah.
dude. I went to a shop. They wanted like 30 something dollars for it. I go online,
Oh,
25, $30. I'm
jeez.
like, dude, I can't do that just because I had a letter published in it.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with that. But yeah, that
That's
that
wild.
Punisher run, I definitely got a letter published. And then Right Now magazine, they
Hmm.
did a Bruce Jones when he was doing
Okay.
like about his run in the Hulk, and I wrote in
Sure.
yet
Sure.
again another nice little Danny Fingeroth.
Yeah.
There you go. See, it is
Danny F.
everything is tying together, and because he was publishing that magazine, and
Yeah.
my letter was in the back of Right Now.
How about that? I have a bunch of those. I wonder if I have that issue.
You most likely do. Look for Dave Schultz in the letters columns, and there you go. And I think sometimes I'd use the nickname like David L.D. Schultz or L.D. Schultz. So
What's that mean?
because when I was in high school, there was many Daves,
Okay.
the multiverse of Daves.
These are the Daves I know. I
Exactly,
know.
little Kids in
These
the
are...
Hall reference. Bless you for that. Greatest comedy troupe of all time, Kids in the Hall.
Hmm.
But so we were all assigned basically according to size, and I was like the
We.
shortest one, and so
Oh,
there was
okay.
Big Dave, Medium Dave, another guy we just called Floyd because he was stoned all the time,
Okay.
and then I was Little Dave. But with that,
Okay.
you can only imagine what people would assume why you would be named Little Dave, right? So
Hmm.
people would say, why do they call you that? You're a little, you're lacking in the Dave department, if you know what I mean. I'm like, you know what? I'm
Hmm.
sick of this crap. So what I did whatever any other rational human would do. I exposed to the world that I'd prefer to be called LD instead of
Oh,
Little
okay. I thought
Dave.
you exposed something else to
No, that
prove.
was a lead in. That's what that was. It's a big
Oh,
bloop.
I took the
You
bait.
did. You took the bait, indeed. So that's where LD
I took
came
the little
from.
bait.
And there's so many people to this day, anybody that I grew up with, if they saw me, even after 10, 15 years, they go, oh,
Hmm.
LD, LD. So it's stuck.
Ah, okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I thought maybe you were the L variant of Dave.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even when I would do like social media back in the day, I think one of my MySpace handles was like LDesus or something
Okay.
because people would just come up with weird stuff to, you know, play with the LD concept. But
There you go.
always been a thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
What about your
Very
letters?
cool.
You never wrote letters in to say it was never
Never.
your jam, huh?
Never. Yeah, I never thought I still don't think I have anything to add to any conversation. I guess it stuck with me from childhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you
Who
do.
knows? Yeah.
Okay.
The jury's out.
Stop thinking that way, please. But okay, so there you go. Chris, you though, you can dig into the archives of where did he get published? He said in.
Well, I think did
He
he?
think he mentioned it.
Oh, West Coast Avengers
West
and
Coast Avengers.
Adjectiveless Spider-Man.
All right, so
I
West.
have every issue of both of those volumes, so I could check
You
him out.
check him out. Maybe we can
Mm-hmm.
do a little expose on his letters
Yeah.
through the
Yeah,
years and have
we
some fun with
should.
that. Yeah.
I think so. Chris continues. He says,
Okay.
"I never lost an issue in my collection back when I had one." And this was a question I posed last week, where it's like I couldn't find my copy of Outsiders, volume whatever the hell, number 37. It's like, oh God, what do you do if you lose a copy of a book you already own? Do you buy it again? Do you what's your price range if you're gonna? Do you just tear through all your stuff to find it again? What do you do? So Chris Hughes says he never lost an issue, but he did miss buying issues. He did miss buying issues several times. He would go to log in and put away a book like, say, Quasar 38, and discovered that I never bought nor read issue number 37. I don't know that you'd know if you read an issue of Quasar. Huh? What say you?
Yeah, no, that's tough. Quasar, talk about
Yeah,
another crappy book.
yeah, that was that Grunwald?
I believe it was. And
Okay.
I want to say, I don't know if this is like a cut and paste answer, but I think Paul Ryan drew some of those as well. I really do.
He drew everything back
And he
then.
was a wildly talented human being.
Sure, sure.
Have I told the story on air before about when I went to go meet Peter David and he was doing
No,
signing too?
I never knew you met Peter
No,
David.
yeah, dude, like it was at That's Entertainment in Worcester, Massachusetts.
All right.
There was a line for Peter David, and
Sure.
they.
What year about what about year was
This
this?
is right with Sins of Youth, Young Justice.
Oh, Young Justice.
This oh
Okay, so
Captain Marvel
90s.
#1 was just dropping.
Okay, so like 97, 98,
Yeah,
99-ish.
yes.
Okay.
So it was just about to be released. I don't think it still was a couple months away, but
Okay.
I could be wrong. badabinshow@gmail.com.
Hmm.
So anyway, they got a table set up, and before you get to Peter David, there's a bunch of different creators, and one of them happened to be Paul Ryan.
Okay.
Problem is if you stopped to speak to anybody else, you would lose your spot to
Okay.
meet PAD.
Ted. Yeah.
So, okay, everybody had stacks like to have him sign. It was
Sure.
ridiculous. Me, I only brought a few issues I found significant. For example, like the last issue of his run. Um, I think I brought like 3 or 4 issues.
Hmm.
The death of Betty Banner, of course, was a big one for me. But anyway, um, so I was like kind of shocked because some of these creators were like, "Hey, we're over here. Does anybody want to
Hmm.
talk to us?" And I looked over and I'm like, "I'm not getting out of line. I ain't doing
Sure.
that
Sure.
either because I want to get this over with. I want to meet Peter David, thank him, and whatever. Maybe I'll come back." And I didn't, and I feel really bad about that because I really would have preferred to have given Mr. Ryan a little bit more credit than he deserved that day.
Hmm.
And I wish they had done it differently, like the setup. Um,
Yeah, that kind of stinks.
yeah, and as a side
Yeah.
note, Peter David had these 2 security guys with him that were like fresh marker dudes, and I thought that was so funny. I'm like, this guy needs security. Like he needs 2 jacked up dudes on either, and they weren't like chili dog consuming fanboys. They were like legit looking security guys. Like you wouldn't want to mess with them. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want to.
Maybe someone gave him an 8 out of 10 review.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was gonna say you wouldn't want to be like, yo, man, your Kickstarter sucks. You wouldn't want to do that. And Kickstarter didn't, exist then, of course. But you wouldn't want to say anything off color to Peter David because these guys would Tony
Take
Soprano
you
your
down.
ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did have a nice conversation with him because I was talking about the significance of these issues and kind of revisiting his run on Hulk and what it meant to me.
Sure.
And he was like, really like, dude, you're the only guy who brought like 5 issues rather than 50. It's refreshing.
Mm.
And then later on the comic boards, me and him would chat up. And this is after Captain Marvel was released and stuff. And
Okay.
we'd always have nice exchanges. So it's very unfortunate that now we we kind of use him as not a gag, but we joke about him a lot. Not saying he doesn't deserve it,
Sure.
but yeah, I'm not going to talk about that anymore. I'm sorry, but Paul Ryan, poor Paul Ryan. That's my Paul Ryan story. Is
Yeah, I'm
that
I'm
I should
actually
have circled
here
back.
on
You know,
I'm here on Paul Ryan's Wikipedia page. to see what his discography is here. Yeah, he was on pretty much everything
Yeah.
back then. He did Avengers. He did Avengers West Coast, Fantastic Four, Fantastic Five, Force Works. Let's see here, Quasar 1 through 6, Ravage 2099 1 through 7,
Uh-huh.
X Factor, X Force. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff.
And he was above the Milgram line.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He was a
Absolutely.
very talented guy. It's just that he wasn't.
He was like a journeyman.
Well, the other thing was the era too. When you
Sure.
get your Dale Keown's and you get your Todd
Yeah.
McFarlane's and
Mhm.
Jim Lee's.
All the new breed. Yeah.
He was a lunch pail artist. You know what I mean? He was.
Yeah. Journeyman.
Yeah, he punch in, punch out. He did a great job. It was just, yeah, man. I'm never gonna forget that. Like, Paul Ryan deserved more, and he had
Yeah,
to pass away, and it breaks your heart now. Going, geez,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, he was part of CrossGen.
Okay, I didn't even
he-
know that off the top of my head. No.
Yeah, CrossGen was a weird little thing.
Yeah.
That was like where the creators had to like sign exclusive deals and like they worked in an office together.
Yes, the Mark
And
Wade.
that Mark Alessi, yeah, Wade was there.
Yeah.
George Perez was there. Weird stuff. Yeah, Money Mark for comics.
I was actually
Weird stuff.
thinking when you did the price guide is right.
Hmm.
Because, at first I remember when you were initializing the concept, you're like, yeah, I'm going to check my old Wizard magazines. I'm like, I hope that son of a bitch doesn't bring any Black Bowl titles to the table. Like, what is Gatecrasher
Ooh.
#1 worth?
Just a Pilgrim #3.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, $800.
It is now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Anyway, Chris
Where
continues.
were we here? Yes. Chris Yu, he missed the famous 9-cent issue of Fantastic Four and had to drive to 3 different comic shops a month later to find it. Felt like an ass going to a store I didn't regularly frequent and buying just a 9-cent book. But if I did ever find I was missing an issue, it would have driven me crazy, and my completionist brain would have made me go out and buy another copy immediately. And I eventually got there with that Outsiders issue. It just took me 13 years.
A long time, yes.
It did. I held out hope. But one of these days it would just like rematerialize where it belonged. You remember the 9-cent issue of Fantastic Four?
You bet. I own like 6 copies of it.
Oh, dude. And it's worth about 9 cents.
Yeah.
The newsstand copy is worth money because a newsstand copy came out and it was like $1.99, like a normal comic.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's worth something because it was in such short supply, I suppose. But yeah, that was a weird time in comics that only proved that they could do it if they wanted to. We had like the 9-cent Fantastic Four, the 10-cent Batman, 10-cent Superman.
Yep. The 10-cent
Marvel.
Adventure. Yes.
Yeah, the 10-cent Adventure, and then they did like the 11-cent Adventure with a War Games, the Batman story?
I don't
I think it was
recall
War Games.
actually, because I remember picking up that first Batman one.
Hmm.
I picked up the 9-cent Fantastic Four. That was actually kind of exciting, to be honest.
But that came out as a response to the 10-cent Adventure.
That was, but still, it was Mark Wade and Ringo taking over the book, and you were like, "Damn, this sounds like it's gonna be really good."
Yeah.
The Superman one was Siegel.
Yeah.
And his whole
that kicked off like the new Supergirl, the dark-haired Supergirl.
Yeah, the Machine
right?
Smiths thing, everything
Yeah.
else. So that was even kind of exciting too.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, who was the artist on that? It was the Nightwing artist.
McDaniel.
Scott McDaniel.
Scott
So
McDaniel.
you're like, yeah, man, I'm all in on this.
Sure.
The Batman one, I don't remember a whole ton about, to be honest with you.
The first Batman one kicked off Bruce Wayne fugitive, or Bruce Wayne
okay.
murderer.
Murderer,
Yeah.
there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, with Silver St. Cloud.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even then,
And then-
I guess I'm just trying to say, like,
Or is it Vespa Fairchild?
it was still like, okay, well, here's a cheap way to get in the ground floor. on
Yeah, it was
something that's gonna be
basically a free
cool.
comic book day.
Yeah, in a sense, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Marvel was doing a thing where every month they would put out one book at 25 cents. So like somewhere in their line every month there was going to be a 25-cent book, and it's like, man, imagine. Give us $1 this year. One book a month will be $1. I'll buy it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't go wrong. I mean, you can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
Even just a piece of crap, you're like, well, I pay more.
It was $1.
I pay more for my birdcage liner
Of course.
than
of
$1
course.
anyway. So there you go.
Oh, and they had such weird gimmicks to get you. Like they had the 100-page giants, or the 100-page monsters.
Yes,
Remember those?
I sure do.
Cover price, 100 pages. Damn. Good stuff. Chris Yu continues, or he wraps up with, I thank you for the reading recommendation. The Fantastic Four being the first book of the Marvel Age of Comics makes them the appropriate place to start trying modern Marvel comics. Wishing you both a happy new year. There we be.
I'll be working New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so I'm not doing anything. I never do anyway.
Yeah, me either.
I never go out and party or do anything. I don't drink, so I don't go and celebrate anywhere. We just stay at home and chill like any other day. It's just
Sure.
But I do appreciate the well wishes. I'm just letting them know,
Of course.
I'm not living the Vida Loca.
I don't even know if I'll be awake at midnight.
Yeah, right.
I don't think I have been for the past 3 or 4.
Yeah. My wife will keep me up. She'll insist that we see the ball drop, at least in New York City. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, so a couple hours, and 10 o'clock will be the new year.
All right. Well, happy New Year's to you too, Chris.
Absolutely.
Hope you had a fantastic, awesome, happy Christmas.
For sure.
And everything was good. And please, no more trigonometry problems regarding your past ever again. And because we are going to be bringing in...
If you're going to buy a 9-cent issue and you're driving 12 miles...
Do you necessarily have to buy anything of substance or value? I do want to do one thing for Chris Yu.
Yes.
It's not a Christmas present. It's not a New Year's thing, but I think he deserves it. And that is a little ditty. And it goes something like this. Here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons, hoping to find we're two of a kind, making a... All right, that's enough. But anyway, that was for Chris Yu. Merry Christmas, sucker. Even though I said it wasn't for Christmas. Whatever. I want my 9 cents for that. Okay? But yes.
What's tax on that?
I don't know, 0.00.
Yes, Peter. Oh, no.
Oh, don't... Yeah, see? You see? Oh, we're terrible human beings. Chili dogs and Peter Davids, Kickstarters and taxes and Romani people and... Oh, that got you, huh?
I forgot that one.
Oh, that one got you. The whole... Yeah, I know the Romani people. I've walked the streets. I know gypsies. Well, you can invite him to next Thanksgiving. It's like that drunk uncle who brings up politics you just don't want to listen to. He's going to start screaming about gypsies and why you didn't donate $5 to his Kickstarter. But even then, that Hulk run was something of wonder and magic.
Special.
That was a fantastic run. And so, same thing with Captain Marvel for the most part.
So,
you can go on and on, I guess, with Peter David's accolades and various contributions. A lot of his most recent nostalgia dives haven't been very good, but
those nostalgia dives in general haven't been very
true.
good.
But I mean, yet again, it's like when I was talking about with Byrne, where it's like he goes on his forums and he rants and raves, or he did when you talk about the Byrne robotics. Hopefully, it's not like some weird sexist or racist tirade. Yeah. If it's not, then you say, okay, let him say whatever he wants about the comics medium in general. But you think about those creators where I'm going to do the whole scale hands thing instead of jazz hands. You weigh out the good versus bad of what they've contributed to the history of the comics. And Peter David, his good outweighs the bad for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Despite the fact that we rag on him a little.
But we digress.
Well, one time, I'm going to tell you this. Here's another Peter David story. I did not go to this convention, but I was doing a podcast, and the person I was doing the podcast with did, and decided to interview Peter David.
Okay.
And so he was recording the whole time. He was like setting up all of his equipment, and Peter David was the most irritated human being on the face of the earth.
Really?
While he was waiting for this guy to set up the mics and everything.
Sure.
And he was trying to say to him, "Oh, my podcast partner thinks you're the greatest Hulk writer of all time, and it means so much to him." He's like, "Yeah. Are you done yet? Is this ready? Why are you even asking me to go if you're not ready to go?" And I'm like, wow. Peter David was definitely in a bad mood that day, man. Somebody crapped in his Wheaties.
Maybe the chili dog wasn't as bad as it can get.
Well, I don't know.
Wow.
Because it wasn't a hygiene thing. It was an attitude thing.
Yeah, it's
Chili
true.
dog is straight up mess upon mess. You know what I mean? And we totally have to tell that story. But
one of these days,
it will happen. And if my Peter David, Paul Ryan story is any indication, I should never tell another story again. I'm not allowed,
I was busy reading Wikipedia when you were doing that.
Thank goodness for the internet saving you from me kind of like, I don't know, it's like you reading Chris Yu's email. So you were stumbling and bumbling, and I was.
Oh boy,
And I'm like trying to
tongue
tell the
tied.
story, but in the back of my head the whole time I'm like, poor Paul Ryan, poor
Never got
bastard.
his
He
due.
didn't, and those guys were pissed
Hmm.
off in that line, man. They were like, guys, hello, he's not the only person here. We're willing to sign your stuff, and everybody's like, huh, whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. Like even Peter David had a line. You know, this. I mean, this was the late '90s, so it was a different time. But I've told the story about going to that comic convention in 2016, where nobody was online for any of the comic creators. And
Yeah.
that's how I was able to get a picture with Dan Jurgens. I think he was just so happy to see someone who like recognized him.
You know,
I felt terrible because it's like this is the guy who wrote the.
yeah, I know.
He's great.
Incredible, legendary
Where's the
group
crowd?
of creators
Hmm.
that
And
the
right across from
architects,
him,
you know.
Wolfman and Perez.
Yeah.
Why are they not with these people?
Hey, you know, if memory serves, you don't have to go back and read it, but I do think you
Sure.
missed a small chunk of Chris Yu's email
Did I?
because I do recall him bringing up my Flash story from last episode when I was talking about I was hanging out with a comic shop owner and the kid came in and was like he wanted a Flash book, but he wanted Flash from TV on the cover. Chris Yu had brought up that there was a cover of the Flash from the Flash TV show of the '90s, which is true. But that was not the issue the kid from my story was referring to, because this is when the Flash was debuting on the CW network. So he was
Where the
looking for
hell is
that
it?
version of the Flash.
You know, I remember that, but I don't see it in the.
Yeah, you got a Christmas hangover, buddy. You got cookie hangover. That's what it is.
Was it a different email, maybe?
It could have been. I could be wrong too. But anyway, whatever the case may be, I'm addressing what he wrote to us because you know what? I treat Chris with respect, unlike my partner down there. Just skipping over his email. I'm kidding.
I don't see it.
Let me.
But I remember him. I remember him writing it, but it's not in this email.
Let me. He did write me a personal email because he's a swell guy. Let me figure this out here.
Where the hell is it?
All right. Let me.
Absolute
This is
DC,
riveting television on YouTube, by the way.
Absolute Flash, FOMO, Flashback Land, Sam Hamm, Namor, Spider-Man 1, Invasion Doom Patrol, Acts of Vengeance, Extinction Agenda, Fantastic Four number 9, or the 9-cent book. Yeah, it's not in this email.
Okay. Well, it's in a different email. I know it is.
I know because I know I read it.
Yeah. Chris, you please confirm it was in one of these things here. Bing, bing,
Or maybe
bing.
you just told me about it.
I could have. Anyway, like I said, this is riveting YouTube material.
Oh, it is. It is.
I'm sure everybody watching right now, you can check the comments. Are like, dude,
What's
seriously,
wrong with you people?
we're here for
Yeah.
the comic book talk, and you guys is going through emails like old people who can't understand the.
It was in the comments. Chris just commented in the comments. It was in the comments.
Oh, it was in
Thank
the
you.
comments. Okay.
Thank you, Chris. You. Okay, so neither of us are in. Oh,
Damn World Wide Web! Damn Internet! These kids
Oh,
in their
boy.
hula hoops and Nintendo games.
I didn't even think to pull up last episode to see if there is a.
Yeah, that's
A
gonna
deal
be
there.
part of our highlight reel. Both you and I, like you're like looking at the screen and I'm going, friggin'.
Yeah, it's like I'm blind and stupid.
I'm just stupid and blind.
Oh boy.
Yeah, all right. But anyway, that was the answer.
There we go. There was a Flash TV special that had a photo cover in 1990. I bet the kid was looking for that specific book.
No,
Okay.
but
I just saw. Oh, God! I didn't see any of these comments.
look at you. Do we have any comments on today's, or just Chris going? Yeah, you guys are some old fuddy duddies.
That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
good.
Nothing about geese necks. Nothing
Okay.
about.
My son is playing Mario Wonder right now. He's been playing it for what? How long? 2 hours and 43 minutes. So I'm like, don't
How
use up
about
my
that?
internet, fool. Stay away from my bandwidth. Santa brought you Mario Wonder. For God's sakes, you're playing. This is like a parent saying you're playing video games whether you like it or not. Just not the one that sucks up the bandwidth. No,
There you
no
go.
Fortnite. Only Mario. And by the way, there's a little side note for you. I never know if I'm saying Mario right because I don't know if I'm saying Mario or Mario.
I say Mario.
I don't.
And
I
everybody
just
gets
say
mad
it
at me.
both ways. I never even realize what I'm doing, and he's always like, "Dad, say it right." I'm like,
I also would say Raphael about the Ninja Turtle.
Raphael. Raphael. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked someone the other day. I forget where I heard it. Oh, you know what it was? There's a speaking about being kind of long in the tooth. Every Sunday morning when I'm getting ready
Sure.
for work, I enjoy this podcast on NPR called "Away with Words,"
Uh-huh.
and all it is they talk about language and different things that we say in the English language and where they came from, the origins of them. And so one person called in to ask about the word caramel
All
because some
right.
people say caramel and
Caramel,
other
yeah.
people say caramel. What's the right way to say it? And unfortunately, they didn't give a definitive answer. They're like, well, technically both.
It's like pecan. Yeah.
Exactly. Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. So I was like thinking I was all high and mighty and smart later in the day, like my buddy Beto. I'm like, well, do you say caramel or caramel? What do you say? Caramel? Caramel? And I forgot what his response was, but it's kind of interesting because we all just say whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true.
So there you go. There's a when you're not watching Chris and Dave on Bada Bin freaking out because they can't get on the same page as far as comments and emails,
Mm-hmm.
you can listen to NPR on Sunday morning
We are
at
slow
6 a.m.
adults.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
your host Dave is right now. So there you go. All right. Well, we should split soon though because
Yeah, I
I
think
want to
so.
eat some leftovers.
Yeah.
My wife cooked a delicious meal that it's the gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Jelly in the Month Club. And I should probably pull my son off the video games and
Off
interact
the Wonder Machine.
like a normal human being. But birthday tomorrow, I think you
Yes.
should go. Even you had mentioned you get nothing specific to hunt for. I think you should
Mm-hmm.
still join society
Maybe.
and do something with your day. And I can hear your stomach growling,
It is. It is. I haven't eaten yet today.
so
Yeah.
you better go eat. But still, what? Any idea, any inkling on what you should be doing for your birthday tomorrow?
I'm not sure. Not sure. Birthdays. I know it's coming every year. It
Mm,
just never. It always still sneaks up on you. I don't know.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, happy
Yeah. We'll see.
birthday.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Whatever you choose to do, I hope you have a good one and eat earlier in the day so your stomach isn't screaming in agony.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
and then we always like to talk about when our next recording will be. I have no idea.
Next week, I'm thinking.
Okay, well I'll let you dictate that because right now I'm on a little mini vacation. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
fingers
Mm-hmm.
crossed,
Mm-hmm.
because I do have some problems at work where they might need to call me in. I'm really hoping they don't, but I'm off until Tuesday. But
Turn the phone off.
I wish, man. But the only person who'd pay the price for that is me.
It's true.
So if I don't fill the gaps there, I'm gonna be off for 5-6 days, coming and go, what the hell happened? So I might as
Hmm.
well.
A bomb went off.
No joke. You know, in the beginning of the show, you talked about control,
Hmm.
and I didn't jump in then, but I guess as we're wrapping everything up today, final thoughts is
Hmm.
when you work retail for a living, you wonder why or how can human beings be so terrible to other human beings?
Oh yeah.
And I'm not even
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about human beings to retail workers in general, but even like etiquette and decency.
Hmm.
And, you know, it's, my faith in mankind is fairly shattered because I've seen how people respond to what they do in public scenarios, especially with
Sure.
shopping.
Sure.
And to me, I had to kind of like assess and figure out why are we the way we are.
Hmm.
And I came up with this is that because we are in we don't control anything in our lives,
No.
right? We really don't. We're at the mercy of everything, everybody else. So
Hmm.
when you're shopping, that's when the moment in your life where you feel like you have complete control. Like people, retail workers have to be nice to you, right? If you're in a restaurant, the waiter's tip is dependent on how
the
polite they are
interactions
with
and
you
yeah.
and how much they refill your drink, and you are king or queen of the world in that
Oh
moment.
yeah.
So in many ways, people abuse that power,
Oh, they let their true selves out. Yeah.
and they think that everything is tailor made to them rather than a communal uh,
We live in a
experience.
society.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. But you know, that's where I think it is our lack of control.
Hmm.
And when we get those little small moments in life where we think, I can totally
Oh yeah.
control this, you
I can
overdo
dictate.
it. I can
Yeah.
dictate what it is. So,
Hmm.
and I'm sure every retail worker over the holidays knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
I
I
believe it.
suck at articulating today. I really do.
We're both hungover
Yeah, man. I stopped that sneeze
from mirth and merriment.
in the beginning of the show, and my brain, like all the synapses and little nerve endings, busted.
Hmm. They were Guy Fieri or
Yes, indeed. That could be it too. We don't know what the culprits are.
we don't know.
But I'm gonna go get my daily dose of Murder She Wrote, no matter what I
There
decide to
you
do
go.
next. So
I'm
mysteries
gonna
will in fact be solved.
I'm gonna throw some fried ravioli in the
Oh,
microwave.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's real good. I'm very glad you guys did Italian because I got the traditional, turkey and potatoes and stuffing, which is nothing wrong with that. But
No, nothing wrong with that at
you
all.
are a fancy man. You're a fancy boy.
I am.
All right, then you
I'm
want
a dandy.
You are a dandy boy. Part of the Van Buren boys. Do you want to say
Mm-hmm.
anything before we split?
No. I think we're good. I
Okay.
think we're good. We'll see. Hopefully, see everybody next week.
Yeah, that'd be great. Happy birthday
Yeah,
to Chris.
One more before the year's out.
Right,
maybe.
that'd be awesome. Maybe we can do.
Yeah.
I hate resolutions. Resolution episodes are so cliche too.
Yeah, my only resolution is to read everything I buy.
Maybe we'll do anti-resolutions, things we swear
There we
we
go.
won't do. Anyway, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in either live or in the future.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Virtual hugs for all of you.
Certainly.
With that, I guess some leftovers to eat, so I'll see you on the flippity flap.
See ya.
Peace.